problem for the Bombers, Sean.
Yeah, look, Griff's had a fantastic year. It's just a matter of getting some more help and some more run and numbers through there. So you said we can see Cooney starting on ball will help Griff in that department.
The umpires this afternoon, Burgess, Finlay and Armstrong. The last time we saw Robert Finlay was at the SCG when he called Melcheski out. Good to see him soldiering on.
Melksham to Griffin. That's a tough assignment for the young man.
Sunday football gets underway then. Minson has to wait. Ryder flicks it down. Liberatore, Griffin. Ball spills wide. Picken goes after it on his knees. Cooney back to Goods. Rovac. Forward of half back. Couple of bounces. Saw his debut. Liked him a lot. He kicks it down towards half forward. John Siracusa had it knocked away. Pairs with the football. Sends it back towards the wing, but out of bounds on the full. So it's going to be Goods' footy.
Dennis, that was the danger I was talking about. Liberatore getting his hands on the ball, Griffin getting involved, and then Cooney's speed through that stoppage.
So Goods looking for Griffin and a boundary throw-in. Has he got a chance of winning the Brownlow, Sean? I mean, his numbers are better than they've ever been, Griffin. Yeah,
it's no doubt his most consistent season. It's whether the wins were giving the availability to get those 3 votes.
I think he's a real chance for a Brownlow medal. Cooney was a Brownlow medalist, we know, in a stronger Bulldogs team. But Griffin's been outstanding. Heppel and Liberatore actually both debuted, as Stanton caught up, both debuted in the same game. Surprised Stanton's playing today. I'm glad he's playing.
Yeah.
I thought at the end of last week it might be a 1 or 2 week and just take their time with him.
He really hobbled around in that second half of the game against Port.
What a durable player he has been as well, Stanton. Getting better, I think, over the last couple of years, getting close to 200. That's going to be holding the footy.
Holding the ball, got to make an attempt.
And speak of the Stanton.
There he is. He's right half back.
Don't hold.
Beckoning some movement. Kicks it beyond the wing. Hurley almost held there, close to the boundary line. Goods knocks it across eventually. So Ryan Griffin off to a good start. And that will be a key, as always, in the midfield.
Dennis, you can see there, that's Jackson Merritt. He just caught one in the mouth and straight to the bench 45 seconds into the game. You don't need that to start.
No, bad way to start a Sunday afternoon. Minson hooks it down behind. Comma goes after the football. Howlett in the opposite direction. Run down from behind. Well done. Melksham. Hot one for Zaharakis. Stanton under pressure. Hooks it towards half forward. Morris leads back. Bounce. Beats everybody. Carlisle tried to do the right thing. Talia slipped with the hands. Goods again. He's got a nice peg on him. Liberatore. It was barely the 15 to begin with. Here's Murphy. Murphy, a couple of bounces, not much on. Murphy decides to look up the middle, demands something of Goods and hits him on the chest.
Had plenty of the ball, Goods, and as Dennis said, he's a lovely kick. Asks a bit of Minson, and well done Zaharakis, and then Ryder to Heppel. And then Heppel just waiting, and now caresses the ball beautifully to Winderlich, and then Winderlich to Dempsey, and then Dempsey off a step. He was off balance and a boundary throw. Just a quickie on your coach, Macca, what sort of mindset does he have for a match like? I mean, how defensive is he in team structures going into, you reckon, Sean?
Oh, look, initially it's about getting in and winning the football. Then it's about setting the game up, and hopefully we can use the footy on the back of that.
So Bell Chambers, is it a simple message normally with him?
It is. It's consistent, I think, is the way you describe it.
Because Lingy knows him so well too from Geelong. So snap from Stanton. And it's a behind.
That's been decisive already. Paddy Ryder's work around the stoppages with his taps, and then Ryder in the forward line again for Essendon, setting up a goal-scoring opportunity for Stanton.
He started very well as well.
Bruce, I can back up Sean's comments there. Macca would keep it very, very simple, but he would demand that they really get in there and have a crack early on the game about the contested footy.
Well, Carlisle gets on the end of Goods' kick to Hibbert. Big left footer. Sends it long. Dangerous ball about 25 metres out from goal. Murphy lost it. Griffin in trouble. That's holding it surely. No free kick. Melksham slips it away. Zaharakis under pressure. Just as well he was. He just missed to the left-hand side.
Well, James Hurd talked about Zaharakis getting some more time. With Joe Watson not playing today in terms of in the mids.
Smith has gone to him too, so he looks like he's got the job and sort of running with him all over the ground or wherever he goes, Zaharakis. And he's such an important player. He's become a really important ball controller for the Bombers.
It's a good mark by Griffin there. He had to be courageous. can rack up the numbers. He's had 30 disposals 7 times this year. He's had a few early. That kick, well, again, asked a bit that time of Dixon. And Stanton did really well there. And then he just put Goddard under pressure. Cooney and Goddard are the 2 number 1s from a year apart together there. Goods doesn't quite get it away from Ryder. And then Ryder goes back to Pears. Pears back to Dempsey. Dempsey's such an important player, I reckon, and gets it to Winderlich. 2 very important players, I reckon, Winderlich and Dempsey. And then Winderlich to set up and goes to full forward. And oh, there he is, Thomas.
Oh.
Goal. Bill Chambers, A5 last week and the first today. Well, you feel like he's blooming in front of our very eyes. He was
That was the perfect kick for them, wasn't it? And just watch this again. Here he is. It's actually Minson that's on him here, and he just gets the 1-2 jump. And that's what we saw him do so well against Port Adelaide last week. And the instruction will go out that Minson in a situation like that has to get some body on him. He's actually got to try and impair his jump to the ball.
Yeah, you can't let him have a clear jump at the ball, especially with a deep injury in the goal square. It'll result in a goal every time.
He was in the social pages this morning, Dan, and now he's kicking the first goal.
I don't read them, Bruce. What was he doing?
I'll ask Lingy. He told me all about it.
20 goals for the season.
His girlfriend just had to hand over the Miss Universe Australia crown. She was last year's one. Handed over to the new winner this
Tom's
year.
girlfriend.
Hey, Lingy,
Wow.
you've got Dennis's attention.
I'm all ears now. No wonder he's smiling all the time, Tom. He's the biggest smiler in the competition. You notice that, Tim? I take notice of those sort of things. Always smiling, even at the oppo.
Tom Chambers.
And gets free kicks because he smiles. So Tom Bell Chambers to get this one. The problem for Essendon might be to keep hold of him, simply because so much speculation about him being packaged up and going somewhere else. Valuable commodity. Hibbert on the overlap. Searching kick inside the forward 50. Going back. Stevens got a hand to it. Didn't hang on, though. In trouble is Collier. He's taken down. Well done by Stevens. John Siracusa dives into the pack. Head on with Winderlich, and we'll have a ball up right on the 50 beside the numbers. It's the Bombers by 8 points.
Some of the disposal winners there for the Dogs. Goods with a lot of the ball in the back half early. And now Liberatore. Dennis talked about his high numbers pre-match. It's almost a good grab by Dixon. Couldn't quite hit. It's been fantastic all year. Stevens. Well done, Stevens again. A little give to John Siracusa. Wallace got a high tackle. He's a bit stiff. Libba got it out. Minson. Gia, normally very good with ball in hand. There he goes to Jones. So the first time they've got the ball forward to the centre, and then Jones out wide to Grant. Good to see him back. And that kick just wasted. Was that Rovic coming forward? Tut, sorry, thanks, Den. And then Howlett caught up. Should know Tut. We saw him in his first game against Port Adelaide, remember?
Thinking the same thing.
Were you playing that day, Sean?
I was. It was an unbelievable start to a career.
Well, he kicked 3 goals in his first 3 kicks or something, didn't he?
Yeah, and 4 goals, I think, in the first term. As Myers smothered off the boot. Cooney. You're flattering me too, Bruce, asking me. John Siracusa to Stevens. I'm always asking you the stats as the ball goes inside the forward 50. And there's Tut on cue. Takes a bit of organising.
Addison, and that's what he'll be instructed to do, to lead hard and to lead low and try and drag Fletcher with him. And they'll be asked to honour those kicks as well, the Bulldogs.
Dempsey out of defence. Long bomb towards midfield. Talia did well. Got it down to Goods. Ditto. And again, Robat is marked directly in front. Now, from what I remember, I saw him a few weeks ago. I hope he hasn't trained off. It was a pretty powerful kick. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, it should be a good chance from there, but I think it's just the importance of lowering your eyes going inside 50 as opposed to kicking it to where the numbers are.
Goods is very good if Essendon don't try and close him down. In space is a beautiful kick. Robat, meantime, 52 metres out. This one has got the length, but not the accuracy, through for a minor score. So the margin is 7 points, but the Dogs now have settled and giving as good as they're taking.
That's for sure. So Fletcher equals Craig Bradley today, 375 games. So that's number 5 on the all-time list. And closing in on Simon Madden.
Hands in the back. Thank you. Hands in the back. Thank you.
That's 50. That's 50. Yep, Ryan Griffin It was always going to be 50 once he didn't give it back. So Bell Chambers having a great start here. Yeah, Fletcher up with Bradley, and he's 3 shy now of Simon Madden. He's number 4 all time. So that one getting to Hurley.
Right there.
Interesting stage of his career, Hurley. So on the left foot, popping it up. Goddard getting set with Ryder. And gee, goods, how many's he had in this first quarter? But that one, he doesn't get out of the danger zone. Hurley, Heppel, back to Murphy. Ball kick, missed the target. Murphy's still playing really good footy.
Not his best kick. You know, he's so good. Goods. Roughhead. Over the top. John Siracusa. Deep back in defence. Stevens. Well done by Stevens. Onto the Shepherd. Picken, meantime, goes down the line, and the mark is missed by Addison. Bounced off his chest. Lively start to this one. Enjoying it. Colourful affair too.
Essendon kick against Will Minton. You've gone in with the arm, mate. You've got to stay apart.
Oh, yes.
Play on.
Can't do that anymore. Bell Chambers wasn't smiling momentarily. Kicked into the man on the mark. Robat kicks inside the forward 50. Back goes Hooker. Paddles it along. They've got the numbers. Fletcher in the back pocket. All the time in the world. Fletcher goes down the line. Myers.
Fletch.
Wallace will stand on the 50. Wow, an epidemic suddenly. Wallace tries to feed it back to Dalhouse. Myers grabs it. Kicks short of the wing. Arriving quickly, Smith. Cleared a path for this man, Addison. Robat under pressure. Kicks inside the forward 50. Reaching for the football is Bagley, and he's going to get the free kick.
Well, it's only a small thing, but the Bulldogs have actually guarded the mark really well in the early stages of this game. There's been 2 kicks that have been intercepted already by Bulldog players, so that says a lot about their concentration coming into this game.
So the Bombers released a bit here. It was Goddard to Comma, and then Comma. Hurley's in a pretty good spot, you'd think here. Can he turn Morris? Heard from Morris pre-match. Howlett. Free kick to Morris. Didn't play a game last year. Pretty good comeback, Sean. I mean, he hasn't missed a game this year.
No, if there's a man to come back after a year off football, it's Dale Morris.
Rovat's handball just missed the target. Stevens just a bit sloppy in the end. I mean, it wasn't a great handball to him, but it was a sloppy kick.
And it makes a real difference, doesn't it? I mean, what the handball hits the target, you're away. It misses the target, and then you're under pressure, and then you turn the ball over.
Talia saw his brother in a great duel with Cloak on Friday night. Goddard really good to Carlisle. Goal. He's a good finisher, Carlisle. He's a good player, Carlisle. I mean, he can. We talked earlier today when we were doing the round 16 wrap, Tim, about blokes that can go forward. Yep. Henderson, Reid, we know. I mean, this guy is the consummate back forward, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's a better forward than he's going to be a defender.
Do you really?
Yeah, and I think Hurley's a better defender than he's going to be a forward. But
okay. Have you told Hurley that?
Well, I haven't told him. I haven't had that discussion with him. But Hurley actually has started forward today. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him at the other end of the ground at some stage.
I mean, he's the ultimate swingman, Carlisle, isn't he? Forward, back.
Yep. Oh, I think he's better as a forward than he is a back.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's where he'll end up playing. Yeah.
Have you told Hurdy that?
No, not yet, no.
Sorry, I've repeated myself, but you know.
Depends who's listening. Vincent out of the middle, kicks it down towards half forward. Tut. Dalhouse slaps it across to John Siracusa. Liberatore lays it off. John Siracusa, well, missed the target, most unlike him. Tracking it back is Grant, confronted, slips a hand pass away. Dixon, Picken, Dixon in trouble. Merritt got him. Picken, Robat. Smith was involved as well there at the 50. Now Tutt swings it across the ground. Brilliant kick, Talia. Well done, Bagley. Came up sensing the danger. Windelet, Carlisle. Sweeping hand pass. Bagley left it behind. Time to go back and fox it. Towards half forward. The famous number 32 does it proud. Collier gets up and takes the mark.
Did do it proud. It's a good grab, wasn't it? Jeez. So Collier, neat kick, and Hurley. That's a lovely stretch. And now improves the angle, Hurley. And so Tim thinking Hurley's a better defender maybe than a forward as well. That was part of that conversation, but I mean, what a luxury to have two guys like that.
Yeah, and the other thing about Essendon side in recent times too is Pears has actually become a better player week in, week out. He had interrupted a couple of years, Tate Pears, but he's just starting to find his feet again at the other end of the ground.
Well, it's his third consecutive game today. He hadn't played consecutive matches this year, Tim Pears, so he is taking a while to find his feet, but he's back there with hooker. Phil Chambers on fire early.
It was very short. That's the man we're talking about, Tate Pears. Long kick down towards full forward at the back is got out, almost the mark, goal. So the alarm bells are sounding for the Western Bulldogs here. Suddenly, after they seem to get on terms and settle into the game, there's been a rush from Essendon, and most of the last few minutes played on their forward line. Brendan Goddard is really becoming a power player with the Bombers now. Almost improving week by week, just finding his way, getting to know his teammates, and that's reflected on the footy field.
And if you look at signs, or force signs, whether a side's on or not, Sean, I mean, their tackle counts up, the Bombers, and their contested possession counts up as well. So they're up for the contest.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a key for us, so we'll be looking at getting back on top in that department.
So Essendon with the first 3 goals. They've spread them round. Howlett. Good attack on the ball by Collier. Murphy slung down, actually, and the ball up.
Big game for Collier, too, because he really hasn't been able to break into this side on a consistent basis. Davey's gone out of the side. He's got a real opportunity now to stitch up that small forwards position.
Well, Tim, it's the first time he's played consecutive games all year and just his 4th, so it's his chance. Darhouse to full forward. Good mark. Well, play on. Gee, Rovat over the top there now. Grant missing everything and out on the full.
You'd like to see that one again, because I think the umpire thought that Hibbert had the ball first, and then it might have been taken out of his hands. There you go. He got a touch on it, but I mean, geez, a bit unlucky not to be paid that mark.
It was impressive, mark or no mark.
Sometimes when umpires are too close to it, of course, they see more, and he was only about 5 metres away, that umpire, so it did touch the hands first, but it was marginal, and obviously sometimes that's paid a mark. Tossed in just outside the 50. Rucks go at it. Knocked forward by Minson. Here's Griffin with that Jackson Brown style haircut. That will stand him in good stead, I reckon, in the Brownlow. He kicks it down towards full forward. Ah, there's 70s, Bruce.
Love Jackson Brown.
Oh, Jackson Brown.
He's no pretender, this fellow, is he?
No. Short one goes out towards the outer side. We could reminisce for hours, but there's a footy match going on. Ryder's got the footy at left half back. That's a beautiful kick into the path of Winderleg. Just a metre short of where it needed to be. Otherwise, he could have taken it and really dashed down towards the 50. Well done, Murphy, to Talia. Pears.
Just couldn't get much on it, Talia, and then Pears squares to Old Man River. And goes to Zaharakis. And then Hooker and Pears. And then back. And Collier, the guy we were talking about. Geez, quick, we know that. He's fresh, and that's a magnificent kick. Melsham just dropped it, and then I thought ran out of bounds. But I hope he didn't, because he's kicked a most magnificent goal. Well played, boundary umpire. Well, how about that? Wow. I mean, Sean, that looks a tough pocket.
Well, that's about as tough as you get. It's a fair goal, isn't it?
Oh, the boundary umpire played this so beautifully, because we wouldn't have got that.
Oh, he was out.
Of course he was.
Oh,
We had the perfect position.
How sweet is that?
You'd have to be a killjoy to take that out off him, though, wouldn't you?
Or Barry for the Bulldogs.
But that's almost a metre.
Well, I'm not sure if there's only going to be a 6 points at the end of the game. Who knows? But wow,
You got 2 there, Sean, that you're pointing to furiously.
Are you dirty, Sean, on it?
Oh, well, you win some, you lose some.
Sounds like a bit like what's happening in Test cricket at the moment, then.
And puts him right in, too, I think, for goal of the year. I mean, if it's from about a metre out of bounds, obviously the degree of difficulty is much more.
Do you think he should have put his hand up like broad and walked and said, no, I'm out of play?
What do we think about that? What do you think, Bruce?
All sorts of things, but I'm at the footy today.
So you reckon he perhaps should have declared he was out of bounds? No, he wouldn't have known. So there's no thought of that as the kick comes from Wallace. Rovat kicks inside the forward 50. John Syracuse has been good. That one's knocked away from him by Bagley. Taken by Pears. Hooker in trouble. Net front on and the ball ricochets out of bounds. Dixon got there quickly. to close him down. So the margin 26, Bombers on top. And a good crowd today simply because, well, the Bombers are playing. Home game for the Western Bulldogs. They've got their support as well, but predominantly a Bombers house. Ryder in trouble, feeds it back. Fletcher the hurried kick. Tailor-made here for Murphy. Did well, got in front of Comer eventually. Ball spills inside the 50. Murphy straight back into the action. Hooks it down towards the pocket. Going back is Pearce. 2-on-1 now. Gian Siracusa knew where the help was. Addison bundled off the football by Pearce was Dalhouse. Fletcher. He got it from Hooker and they work it away. Melksham, Myers. Now the ball goes out towards the outer side from one of the best players in the competition. Young Heppel. There he is again. He follows up, gets it from Winderlich.
And bangs the ball forward and gets away from Hurley.
He worked hard there, Winderlich. As soon as they broke their Essendon, he broke to the outer wing and they missed him the first time. He actually had to double back and present again.
So, I mean, he's had so many fitness problems, Winderlich, hasn't he? I mean, he's obviously up and really going. It's great to see him having a consistent play. And it was high praise from Dennis with Heppel. He's only missed 2 games, Heppel, since he started, so you've got him in the elite.
Well, it's very rare that a guy walks in and looks like he's done it all his life, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Hurdy thought that. In fact, I think your son might have heard. Joe mentioned that he was about as good as he'd seen when he first saw him, Tim. And here's Winderlich getting it back. And that was great play by the Bombers. And that was Comer belting it out, and Winderlich gets their 5th. You know, I remember talking to Joe about doing an interview one day, and Heppel had just arrived with the club, and he thought, wow. I think his words were, if he was number 8, I'd like to see the other 7 in the draft. And he's been proven to be a very good judge, I think.
Well, the point is a good point, and that is you see so many young kids, Sean, coming into the game, but even though they're talented, they don't necessarily have the physical capabilities of being able to play week in, week out.
What do you think of Heppel?
Oh, no doubt he's a talented player. I think, as you touched on, any player to come in to senior football at the start of their career and be able to not only rack up possessions like that, but use the footy and look like a senior player is impressive.
So courageous too. Head down all the time over the footy. Stevens breaks away for the Dogs. Searching kick inside the forward 50. Addison outmanoeuvred there by Fletcher. Sweeping hand pass. Pearce on the overlap is Hibbert. Favours his left boot, and that works out okay. Collier looks back towards the middle. They're playing with great confidence, too much confidence. Tut lines up, and what's he done? He's missed. Oh, that should have been a goal. We know he can kick them, Bruce. We touched on that before, but they're second behind, and they trail by 31.
That cricket analogy we were talking about earlier, they just need that first run at the moment, don't they? They need to get that first goal. And that was their best opportunity. Fletcher to himself and then banging. Bell Chambers getting up high. Griffin getting it back to a hot spot. Well done by Dalhouse, because I thought Hibbert was in the box seat. Little give. Rovat's been busy enough. Cooney, haven't called his name too often. Well done, Collier. That was very well done. And then Pearce slaps it to Zaharakis, to Dempsey. This could be something now to Comer. This is where they've been getting them. Hurley running hard towards the goal square. Comer goes short and finds Ryder, and he had a couple of options. And that transition's been a huge problem, hasn't it, to hold them up?
That's right, and the Bulldogs have had opportunities going forward. They're winning the clearances, but they haven't been able to find anything inside their forward line to actually hold the ball in there, Sean. Yeah,
there's no doubt with similar inside 50 entries, the rebound that we're allowing Essendon at the moment is something that we'll have to look at.
So Ryder, he hasn't missed a set shot this year. 5 from 5. He usually does them in, but not Paddy today. He's got it home. So the Bombers are flying here. They really are. Up to 6 goals. They look quick today, don't they? I know Roof over the top. Eddie has a fast track. They look quick.
Well, the Bulldogs are winning the clearances. It's 9-7, and that's what they've been able to do for most of the season. But they haven't been able to get those forward meaningful entries where they've been able to lock the ball in. They're kicking the ball back to the Essendon side, who then spread so well. And we know that they've been able to do that with Fletcher, and Hooker plays so well off his man as well. And then they've been able to come up through the corridor and really open up the Bulldogs.
A lot of their good work is starting in defence too, because Pearce and Fletcher both have had 8 possessions. They lead the Bombers. Just working it, trying Buying some time back there and distributing the ball brilliantly. Minson had it, lost it. Poked forward by Stanton. Comes back to Big Will. Cooney, too slick for him. Heppel was in there. A lot of hair in there. Wallace battling with Heppel. Over the football. Jackson Brown, who got a ball up.
What started it? Paddy,
Griffin.
cut it out. Paddy. Thank you, thank you.
Got Addison behind the ball now. He's trying to get to Winderwick. Winderwick's trying to get to Bob Murphy.
Kicked forward by Griffin. Going back. Spilt by Myers. Falls in front. Slipping a hand pass across. Rovat. Now it's taken by Stevens. Looks down towards full forward. Should mark this one, Jones, and he does. Sean, what do you think?
I'll pencil him in, but I think that's just the difference of getting it in quick one-on-one. It's what every forward dreams of, and sometimes a forward can be a product of what happens up the ground.
He did say pencil it in. He's missed a few, hasn't he, this year, from reasonably close range?
Yeah, he has. I think this year's probably been slightly better than has been in the past, so let's hope this one goes through.
15-7 from set shots, but of course that's all about where they take them from. That's beautiful. Straight through the middle, so a while in coming, but the Dogs get there first, approaching quarter time. So the margin 31 points. Lovely kick to set him up. Able to reach over the top of the defender. It was a sitting duck.
No problem.
Rovat's been good. I mean, he's sort of got the ball out there. He's had 9 disposals, Rovat. He's been in and under. And they've broken that duck. Jones, an interesting player, isn't he? Could be something, I reckon.
As Liam Jones kicks the goal there, the bloke I've been most impressed with is Nathan Rovat. He's had the 9 possessions. Sean, Macca mentioned that he's got really good leadership qualities. Have you sensed that about him as well?
Yeah, no doubt. He just loves the game, Lingy. I think you touched on his disposals that he's getting today, but I think it's his composure and the way he's been able to use the footy that's been impressive.
So someone to watch out for. He's one of the first-year players. He's just 19 years of age.
Bulldogs free.
So the Dogs, Stevens
Sitting in his
gets
back,
Cooney, Murphy. Good kick to Jones. He's a really interesting player, I reckon, Jones. He's taken a while, but big guys do. Here's another guy that's taken even longer. In Grant.
Yours.
And that kick setting it up, but it was to the advantage of Bagley and Hibberd, really, against Dowhouse and Gia. Almost like Gia with a little space there, so Bagley belting back. Jones should mark again, and he does, so he's having a purple patch here, Jones.
That was a really good play then by the Bulldogs. They slowed Essendon down, they forced him to kick down the line, and now they got the turnover.
A lot of Bombers at the drop right here. Hibbert should have marked it. Minson coming through, had it, lost it. Grant over the football. Burrowing in is Fletcher. Well, the ball up about 35 metres out from the Dogs' attacking goal. Hopefully, from their point of view, they can sneak one here. They've been off the pace. Goddard. It worked out okay. Stanton, though, robbed by Smith. Smith's snapshot is very good. Oh, what a beauty. Clay Smith. Well, they did steal one of the best. Margin 25 points, but that's a lifter. And still 2.5 minutes out from quarter time. I know it's a lot to ask, but maybe another one, and suddenly it's under 20 points.
It's been a really good response by the Bulldogs in the last couple of minutes, and that bloke's as tough as they come. And that was really just an instinctive kick, but right on target. Just good tackle. Great the way that he just took the ball off Stanton then. And he has kicked goals in the past. Smith, I think he kicked 4 in his first game of AFL football, so he knows where the big sticks are.
He's got 10 this year, Tim. This is his 14th game this year, so he's around about a goal a match, but he did get those 4 early on.
Holding the ball, you dragged it in. Sorry, that way, yep, stay there,
So
stay there.
Dogs with a little roll here. I mean, that's a sloppy handball, and Griffin has to wait and then try and get away. He's clever, Griffin. Gee, Jackson Brown would have been pleased with that, I reckon. Kicks to full forward, Fletcher down. Now Smith's in his pocket, isn't he?
Yeah.
Stanton with him, Smith and Stanton. Stanton recross with Smith. Tutt going back and then looking to put it to full forward. Gier at the back, well done at the front. Bagley, Dowhouse off. Almost a free kick. Give to Gia. Give to Grant. Grant gets the goal. Dennis, your wish is their command.
How about that?
The other way around, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Spot on.
How good's this, Sean?
Yeah, it is. I think Tim touched on it before. We're able to slow Essendon down coming out of defence, lock the footy inside 50 more. Footy inside 50 creates more goals.
So what's happened in the last 5 minutes?
I think that we've got our hands on it in the middle of the ground. Obviously, with that clearance from Griff, the strength that he's got to burst through a pack and get it deep inside 50.
Tim?
The other thing about their last 3 goals have come from stoppages. Now, we talked about their clearance advantage. Now they're actually turning that into meaningful possession and goals. So, and that's an area of the game that they're really good at.
Gee, how big's that for Jared Grant too? I mean, he's been invisible all year. I mean, it's his first match.
Yeah, that's great for anyone's confidence, especially when you've been out of the game for a while.
Minson, Liberatore had it, fumbled it. Heppel goes after it. Burrowing in there. Oh, well, I thought Minson did everything he could to avoid contact there. And Paddy kept burrowing. Stanton's got the football now down the ground. There's going to be a free kick. I think it's going to Carlisle, is it? No, it's Goddard.
You just got to be careful.
No, it's Carlisle.
Wow.
They're queuing up to take it, those Bombers.
That's a gift, though, isn't it? When you've
Stay out, boys.
arrested the momentum back your way, you get a free kick out the centre against you and then a free kick in the goal square.
Going at his second. Only 8 possessions last week, but I believe he hurt himself in the warm-up, Timmy.
Had a back spasm.
I think he had one then.
He may have revisited it.
Yes. Well, that's a bad miss, but things running for the Dogs. They're just down by 20, Bruce.
That was the magic number you talked about, Dennis. Long kick by Murphy. Pepper, well done, and that's a good squeezy kick. Fine mark taken by Morris.
Thank you.
Morris and Hurley will be one of the jewels of the day. Murphy to Cooney. Good mark. Clever kick, good mark. He's played a lot of footy this year, Cooney, which is good. He's had the knee problems over the last sort of 3 seasons. Down the line, Jones, we know, has been grabbing it pretty well. Dalhouse doing the roving. Pearce stood up and the ball up.
And Pearce has to know that the guy he's playing on, Liam Jones, is a very good overhead mark. I mean, you don't want to underestimate his ability to catch the ball in the air.
Right at the interchange gates then. Heppel, 8 possessions so far. Bell Chambers had some weight to that.
Straight up, no free.
Didn't he?
Heard the umpire.
Gee, I thought that might have been against Bell Chambers then for high.
Flicks it down. Heppel, little 1-2 punch there. Heppel goes towards half forward, tracks the footy. Now 2 tough hombres coming at that one in different directions, and Heppel aware that Rovat doesn't stop. Close to the boundary line, Collier, down he goes, and we'll have a boundary throw in. 5 seconds out from quarter time. Collier was handy last week, brought some pace to the table. Minson tries to lay it down. Rovat again, smothered off the boot, found it, head down, burrowed out of the pack. It's quarter time. A lot to like about the Dogs in the last 10 minutes or so, but they trail by 20.
Contested possession, the Bulldogs. They're up in clearances. They're down slightly in tackles and inside 50, 18-16. So once they fixed themselves up in their forward half, they actually started to lower their eyes. They evened the numbers up, Sean. This game started to change.
Yeah, we lowered our eyes. We got better use going inside forward 50, but I think the big was we were able to reduce their impact coming out of our forward 50. Lingy touched on their overlap, their work rate through the middle of the ground, set up a number of goals.
So the start of the second quarter here, with the roof over the top at Etihad. So doubled the score, 6-4 to 3-2, but the Dogs got the last 3 goals of that opening term after Essendon came out absolutely firing. Goddard got one of the goals. Bell Chambers took a spectacular mark in that opening term and goal. Well done, Zaharakis, pinching the ball, gets to 50, timed it very, very well. Well done to Ruffhead, so some good footy there. It was going through, Ruffhead getting back.
Murphy's now sitting back as the free for the Bulldogs too, so it's going to be more difficult for the Bombers to score when they go forward because they're going to have to navigate him.
Actually, Rovat's had a lot of it. He was in the same draft as McRae and Stringer last year. He was the 3rd man that the Dogs took, and he does look like he's going to be a very fine player, as do the other 2, by the way. They're not playing today, but I think McRae got a Rising Star nomination this year. Stringer we've seen a fair bit of, and this guy looks good, and Taylor, of course, got one last week. So some good signs.
Goddard goes to ground. Liberatore. Cooney sends it down towards half forward. Inadvertent contact, I'd suggest. Jan Siracusa went down. Fletcher took the mark. Hibbert will be forced to kick. No, he'll never kick with his right foot. He goes with his left back to the pocket. And it's taken by Hooker. Hooker, a lot of the ball lately, goes short, looking for Goddard. Well done. Getting a fist in there was Griffin. And he puts it out of bounds. Goddard's been quiet so far.
I was just about to say, he's finding it difficult today. He's actually fumbled a couple of times. He's been tackled really heavily. He just hasn't found any space at all.
Bell Chambers off the ground. Goddard lurking off the pack, number 9. You can see him there coming his way, although Dalhouse digs it out. Well done. Rove that again. Cooney deep in the pocket, charged down and out of bounds. Fletcher, there he is. He was signed as an unrestricted free agent. That's got to be the biggest oxymoron in sport. Free agent. Tossed in. Minson knocks it down. Melksham, he's getting better too, growing in confidence. Short. Dempsey
Spreads it. Asks a bit of Collier, but Collier was up for it. And then the handball. Their transition foot has been impressive. Stanton's long kick. Hurley just used the body cleverly on Morris. Morris chasing, Comma providing the run. Hurley gets to him. Good run down almost by the Dogs though. Goods getting back. He's a left footer, but he's okay on the right. And Grant should be able to do something here. He's got the man on, so this is a good transition for the Dogs. Gia now, Jan Siracusa now. Dalhouse is over the top. Don't know if he's got that in his legs, so he's going to go back. And they catch their breath for a moment, Liberatore.
That's a good hold on too.
So Libba short. Cooney starting to work into it. It's a neat kick. So Gia gets himself about 20 metres closer. He's such a crafty player, isn't he, Jan Siracusa?
still going strong. Goes down the line. That's a beautiful kick.
It is.
There's hardly any space, and he created some space. There's Jones, centering ball.
Good kick too.
Trying to fist it away Melksham. Nobody touched the footy. Too nimble at the back of the pack is Collier. Lays it off to Bell Chambers, to Goddard, lurking alongside Zaharakis. Another runner pushing up the ground is Bagley. They're good when they're doing this. Pears, Goddard, Bagley. Just shy of the wing, pulls it back. Zaharakis exposed there. Smith over the top, and now Essendon exposed if he can get the footy. They get some tidy possession from Grant, but the kick's a shocker. And the mark is taken by Stanton. Well, it was one-on-one inside the forward 50 because they'd all come flooding forward.
There's just no composure with that at all. I mean, they did all the hard work. They stopped Essendon's run. We see Zaharakis got a knee in the back, still taking in a couple of deep breaths. All they had to do then was just show a little bit more composure when they went forward. And that'd be the message from Brendan McCartney. Just make Essendon defenders defend.
Well, Jared Grant kicked it like a guy who hadn't played a lot of footy. He was just couldn't get the right connection. Fletcher from a beautiful kick by Pears. Goddard just wanting some time and space. Goddard did it cleverly, got knocked over, but he found Comma.
Zaharakis coming from the ground as well.
Gee, wouldn't it be something if Comma can stay in this team come finals time? They pick him just about every week. He's been really good. Great story. Howlett back. And with Dennis, Melksham continues to improve. It's like he's really bloomed this year. Griffin got it from Liberatore. Stevens, rough head. Now over the top to Gia, and he will try and create here.
Nobody on. He looks down, hesitates, driven back towards the boundary line. No alternative really but to come back to Peckin. Well, it went past him, so the moment is gone, and Peckin misses Stevens from point-blank range. Roughhead, Stevens. Well, this will make it hard for Essendon, simply because the Dogs don't know what they're doing. Hand pass comes from Liberatore. Peckin drives it back towards the 50. Jan Siracusa, who was involved earlier. That was a big attempt from the back, but little or no chance. It was taken in front by Bagley. To Fletcher, to Goddard, who'll run it up ever so gently. Nobody coming to him, so he stops for a moment. Now he accelerates. Short. And the mark is taken by Ryder. Comma, so industrious. Myers, so long with the boot. Down towards the pocket. Bell Chambers. Oh, I like Tom Bell Chambers.
Got a good lead though, Myers, has he? When that ball just carried that extra 10 metres, the defender probably didn't expect it to. And then it was really kicked to Bell Chambers. Look, that just a great nudge there. Out-bodying Roughhead, and he has, Dennis, as you say, got a beautiful pair of hands.
Well, I've got to say, Bruce, I liked him before I heard about the social pages. I like him even more now. So Tom Bell Chambers will kick from about 25 metres. Oh, we're on the Bell Chambers bandwagon. He's got 2.
Well, one of the impressive, I mean, Myers' kick did have the ball didn't even bubble in his hands. I mean, he just stopped it dead, Bell Chambers.
Yeah. If you go all the way back, though, to Gia when he had the ball then, and none of the Bulldog forwards had actually worked hard enough to get back so that they could actually present themselves, Sean, and that really held them up there.
Yeah, it did. We pushed a lot of numbers back. We had off-ball run from our forwards. Gia then got it and had limited option going inside 50. We probably just need to smell the game a little bit and know when we do have forwards out of position that we may need to hold it up.
So here's the injury for Zaharakis.
It's right in the small of that, isn't it? A knee.
It really hurt.
And he's been doing, you can see him doing a few stretches just there. He's run up and down the boundary a couple of times. He does look sore, but the doc's been checking him out closely, and they'll give him a bit of time, see if he recovers all right. The sub has started to warm up just in case.
Thanks, Lingy. So Stanton just a bit high on Libber. So Liberatore, that's a dangerous poor kick, actually. Myers cut it off. Rovat tried to get back to him. Myers, who hooks it back about 40 metres. He has got a big leg. Well done that time, Roughhead, Bell Chambers. Gee, well picked up, Bell Chambers. But some good stuff by the Dogs. Talia to Tut. Well, Tut sort of flicked it away, but gets it back. It was a bit of tut-tut there, wasn't it? Over he goes and gets it to Murphy. And then Murphy to Goods. And then Goods on with a quick kick to centre wing. Front spot was Hooker. Good contest there from Jones, and then a terrific tackle coming from Morris, but not paid. And then Ryder over the top looks for Myers. Belted away. That one from Tut again. And the Dogs may get out of it. Minson to Tut.
Tut drives it down towards half forward, working in front. Grant did well.
Got to go quickly here. He's got a one-on-one.
Yes. Spots it now. Stevens in front. The ball pitches in front of him, though. They'll get the extra man in a moment, Essendon. Hooker comes across. Well played, Stevens. Thumps it out of there. Taken by Hibbard. Falling to the ground. Gave it to Heppel. Now, ample time for Hooker. Hooker got it from Heppel, but the kick not good. And the mark is taken by Talia. Talia off the step. Well, he didn't take the step. Stationary. Rovat, who's winning a lot of admirers this afternoon. As I mentioned, saw him play his first game. I was very surprised within a few weeks he was out of the team. But he's back in business today and very impressive again. Hooker, worth a kick. Heppel spins out of trouble. Beautifully done. Goes down towards half forward. Leading back to the races, Carlisle.
Goods was up front, though. And that's a neat kick by Goods. You can see how Goods would dominate a lot of competition. He's just such a good mover. 29 years of age.
Murphy just trying to set this up for a switch right across the other side of the ground.
Well, they're not going to get it to him this way. Talia, they get back to Dixon. So he now sets it up. Jones can't quite get into it. 3 bombers went up, so the Dogs must be somewhere. Addison, Jones, little give. Cooney! Oh, no. Across and a boundary throw in.
They've got to organise themselves a bit better down there too, the Bombers, don't they? We've seen the last 2 high balls come in, and there's been 3 blokes flying and not enough at ground level. And Cooney just normally has more composure then. He actually had a bit of time, a little bit of space to do something a little bit more than what he did.
Behind the pack, a chance for Dixon. Trying to get through. Rovat again. Griffin. Right on the boundary line, across his body. All Bombers back there. Bagley. Stanton. Runs to the defensive goal square. That can't be 15 because it's only 7 metres from goal post to behind post. Umpire spotted that like a hawk. Hibbert comes away, kicks it well over the head of Bell Chambers. Tough to do. Roughhead with the judgment. Well done by the youngster. To Murphy. Now this could open up for them. Wallace. Oh, not a good kick. Bounces off the chest of Dempsey. The veteran can't get through Murphy. Cooney, Dixon, Liberatore, left-footer. That suited him in that circumstance, and he puts it through for a goal. He wrong-footed everybody. What a good goal. Hard-working goal. Blue-collar goal.
There's a lot to like about the last 10 minutes, isn't there?
There's a lot to like about them at the moment, the way they're playing, Sean.
Yeah, we're able to slow Essendon up outside, coming out of defensive 50. I think getting them to kick long works in to our hands, and then obviously once you get inside forward 50, you can create a scoring option.
Been busy again this afternoon. Liberatore had 11 possessions, 5 contested, 3 clearances.
Hey, Lingy, they've kicked 4 of the last 5, the Dogs. We know that the Bombers have still got the lead, but they're sustaining some pressure. Do you think they can keep it up?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? They've done it throughout this year. They've had really good patches, but their ability to sustain, it's the hard bit. I'm loving what they're doing. They're having a real crack, and they're almost beating Essendon at their own game. Essendon pride themselves on contested footy. Well, the Doggies are doing a great job of it.
I tell you what, we're loving that bloke. Rovat gets the ball to Stevens, gets it to Tutt. Tutt with a little shifty one to full forward, and a lovely kick, and Jones has got it. The best passage of footy of the day from the Dogs. And it started with that 19-year-old midget, Rovat. Well, he's not that little. Steady, Bruce. He's about 3 centimetres taller than me. But
up to 15 now.
He's impressive, short, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Like I said, the use of the footy is just first class for him through the middle of the ground.
4 of the last 5 inside 50s too, so they're really getting on top around the stoppages, around the clearances, and they're making the Bombers really run and work hard and defend.
I reckon Sean will take the moon boot off if he kicks this. We're getting excited up here.
Hold up.
So Jones gets 2, and the Dogs are rolling. It's good stuff. Talked about Jones earlier, Tim. Well, perhaps I should ask Sean. I mean, he's 22 years of age. He's played 50 games. I just feel like he could be a very, very big player.
Yeah, we saw glimpses, I think, a couple of years ago where he was able to take those really big, strong, contested marks.
What sort of a guy is he, Sean? Has he got some confidence about him or not?
Well, I think that's what fluctuates throughout a game sometimes, and I think with all key forwards, you need that confidence of kicking goals.
And they're able to carry the ball through the midfield as well. And Sean spoke about this. What forwards want is they want a little bit of space to operate in. They want some one-on-one contest. And that was a beautifully weighted and placed kick to the favoured side there of Jones. Right in this contest, the Bulldogs.
The Dogs with the last 5 inside 50s. Here's another one. Liberatore hooks it down. Fisted away by Hooker. Outside the defensive 50. Cooney, a play on the football. Left it to Smith, going in the opposite direction, but he couldn't go very far.
Essendon really missing, of course, Joe Watson. That's an obvious statement. But also Heath Hocking at the moment, the Bulldogs 18 to 12 up in those clearances, killing them at the stoppages.
Stevens did brilliantly. Smith feeds it back. Stevens, Minson, wider still. Fumble from Cooney. Well played though, Talia. But they're being forced back at the moment. Pickin, his kicking hasn't been great today. He was under pressure that time, but it goes a long way in the air. Minson managed to get it down, but Zaharakis stole it. Goddard goes wide. Winderlich. Now they're away. This is Merritt, who got whacked in the mouth in the opening minute of the contest. Pulls it back to Stanton. Coming up is Goods. Goods did well. We had a collision. That's all it took. Well done. Wallace, Pickin, and now the ball to the outer side, and the mark is taken low down by Gian Siracusa.
Great call, Dennis. I mean, how good was Goods then? I mean, he took the chance. He ran off his line. Grant just missing in a boundary throw. Look, this is exciting stuff.
It is, and the crowd are really into the game now, and I reckon the Bulldogs players out there, that's a great chase down there by Goods. Came off his man, as you said, really early, and that's, you've got to have a bit of bravery to be able to do that, but the clearances this quarter 7-2, so they're really getting their fair share of ball away from these situations.
Minson probably won it. Herpel, little kick forward. Ryder and Roughhead. Ryder tried to get it to Collier. Little give was okay. Zaharakis. Ryder. Collier's off. Well, there's a vacant goal here. He can kick this. Just missed. So the Dogs rolling the dice forward, and the Bombers able to get them on the transition, but not getting the goal. So 3 goals in it.
Pickin to himself, runs it up to the 50. It's Timothy away without a bounce, goes short, barely to 15. Dixon, Minson. Now they start to run hard to the Dogs. And coming up the ground is Grant against a flow of players going the other way. Goes with the outside of the boot, Gian Siracusa. Made to earn that one. Wants to go immediately. Picks up the loose ball. On the bounce, it goes inside the forward 50, intended for Smith. That's too high. Bagley will get a free.
Dennis, I like what they're doing, the Bulldogs, at the moment, though. They're actually taking Essendon off the line, particularly their defenders. So they're making them really work hard and defend. They're not afraid to use the space of the forward line. And that's really good coaching. And it's just a matter of hitting those targets then when they actually shift their defence around like they're doing.
Stevens straight up in the air. Hurley knocked it down. Haven't called his name too often. Rovat in trouble. Called his name plenty. Ditto Stevens. He's taken down though. Needs to feed it out. Crashing through his Howlett. Dalhouse goes for a ride and wins a free kick. Dalhouse, like he was at the rodeo, just bulldogged him down.
And then the little kick's a good one and finds Rovat. Gee, they are.
They're going to put a stopper on this plate, though, don't
these
they?
dogs are playing like mongrels right now.
Look at this, Grant on his own.
Oh, he's cut off. Howlett, Grant, Dalhouse has to corral himself. Back to Grant. Now, can they keep a cool head here? Emotions are high at the moment. They've really rattled the cage of the Bombers, haven't they? That's a poor kick going forward.
And on the top of that, Bruce, is David Zaharakis. We saw him just getting a little bit of treatment there. He came off the ground looking really, really sore and just said to the doctor, I'm gone. So he's got doubts of whether or not he can keep going. And O'Brien is warming up as a sub, so that would be a big loss for the Bombers.
Hey, Lingy, about a minute ago, did you see Goddard and Liberatore come off the ground in front of you?
No, I didn't, Bruce. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay. You would have seen something very interesting if you had. Here is Goddard. They weren't friendly, I can tell you. Kicks the ball to Myers.
I think the Bulldogs have targeted Goddard this afternoon. Every time he's gone near the ball, there's been some real physical pressure on him.
Well, they got a response from Goddard as he was running to the interchange bench.
Myers goes looking for Bell Chambers, taken high Jan Siracusa.
Hi, Western Bulldogs. Hi. Jake, be careful.
Liberatore angry with quite a few people there. If that's the flow I'm getting from you, Bruce.
I think he's got good reason to be. I think he's got good reason to be angry with somebody at the moment, anyway.
There's Griffin, got it from Talia. Driving kick from Murphy. Deep into attack. Offhands loose at the back. Gathered by Stevens. He's trying to bounce it through. He has. Oh, that was a clever kick. Magnificent kick like a lawn bowler. Just got the bias on it and through it went.
You're just getting the feeling that something's brewing here at Etihad Stadium on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, Bulldog brew.
A Bulldog brew, and they're really starting to snarl. And with each of these goals that they're kicking, I think they're starting to get some real confidence within themselves. And that bloke there, he's been the architect. He's actually almost afforded himself a smile.
Oh, not quite, Tim. Just for the record.
There was a smirk.
No, it wasn't quite a smile.
There was.
Just to get it straight. Well, Stevens has been fantastic today. He's already passed his season average. This is his 12th game for the Dogs. He only played 11 games in 3 seasons at West Coast, so he's bettered that with today. He's been brilliant, but he's indicative of what we've seen. And how good was that? Coming from Griffin, getting out of nowhere to Dixon, to Wallace. Dempsey getting back. Heppel. So the favourites are being challenged here. They kicked the first 6 goals and 6 of the last 7 have gone to the Dogs. Well done, Ryder. Melcher just threw it away. Smith's free kick. How hard is Smith, though, Sean?
Yeah, he loves it. Macca loves the way he goes about it. It's the sort of template, I guess, that he loves from all the midfielders.
30 to 22 inside 50, so that dominance that they're having around the stoppages is now really just start to show on the pressure they're putting on the Bomber defence.
They kicked to half forward, Fletcher belting it away. Well, Lingy, I asked you 10 minutes ago whether they could sustain it. They've done it so far pretty well.
Well, they certainly have, Bruce. They're doing a terrific job of it. You can see Zaharakis, he's going to come back out in the ground, so they're going to keep trying to get him into the game. But the Bulldogs have just been terrific, so good at the clearances.
31 more possessions too. Cooney got it from Griffin. Rovat, clever, body to body with Howlett, beat him.
This bloke's my new favourite player, Rovat. I love him.
I'll get in line. There goes Smith down towards the pocket. Awkward half volley. Addison tries to feed it to Gian Siracusa. Twisting, turning, right on the boundary. Centering kick, dangerous spot again. 2 Bombers up there. Lack of talking. It spills wide. Well done, Carlisle. Flicks it across towards Dempsey. Dempsey goes out wide to Stanton. Mind you, it's hard to replace a Brownlow medalist, and their Supremo is missing this afternoon. Winderlick on the outer side. Feeds it back, Collier. Winderlick. Now Dempsey can run at them. Kicks it down towards half forward. Hurley, they need him. 60 metres out. On the move is Goddard. Low down, drop the mark. Socked away by Talia.
just happening for the Dogs. Talia, oh, good mark, Collier. Played it beautifully and then belts it down the line to Comer. Gee, Collier's, well, he's probably playing for his spot every week now, isn't he? And he's responding.
I think that jumper comes with its own heart, though. Pumping.
Yeah. He's had some moments over the years, hasn't he?
Hasn't it?
So
Goddard's having a mare, isn't he? Every time he goes near the ball, though, he just looks like a bloke who's about to fall over.
Goddard.
Yeah.
Well, he's been put through the mill today, hasn't he? The Dogs have been at him. Bell Chambers, good tap. No free to Merritt. Back to, was it Howlett? Couldn't get through. I mean, they've been so fierce, the Bulldogs. Myers, Cooney, Smith. Well, we're seeing the future here. We're seeing what they might be like in about 3 years' time. They're going to be really good. Hooker and the style of play. And then Stanton down the line. That's brilliant to Hurley.
What a beautiful kick. Stanton, here's Hurley. 55 metres out then. Long one. Goddard fell over. Loose ball at the back. Melksham arrives quickly. Cannons into the fence, and the ball is out of bounds. And that booing, I think, coming from the majority shareholders here this afternoon. Essendon fans not happy. Under 3 minutes till half-time. Bell Chambers taps it down. Cooney over the shoulder, only as far as Dempsey. Does a U-turn right on the 50. That's a powerful kick. Oh, what a beautiful effort. Morris can't get back in time. So a wonderful individual effort there. Dempsey just making something out of nothing. They were tracking him like a posse, and suddenly they all spread to get to somebody else, thinking he'd give it off, and Courtney Dempsey just put it through.
Yeah, great leg, wasn't it, from Dempsey? Gee, they needed it. They really did, because they've been rattled, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely rattled. And the pressure that's been applied by the Bulldogs has been outstanding, and sustained pressure too. Can they go the distance, though?
He was just able to get some time and space, as Dennis said. Everyone was sort of peeling off to get onto their man, and that's a good long kick. And Murphy trying hard, but they get one against the flow. So a couple of goals to the Bombers in this quarter from Bell Chambers, and now Dempsey. Another goal, one by the other, big before half-time. Essendon can really get back some control with another one here. Dempsey out wide. They're in a good position. Winderlick. He looks up. He wants Carlisle. It's a bit sloppy, the handball. Carlisle buying some time. Goods corrals. Comer. Well marked, actually, down low. It was a fingertip like a slips catcher.
This is good too, because it dragged Murphy right out of the defensive part of the ground.
And then Comer looking for that lead from Goddard. And then Griffin looking to get back to Cooney in a boundary throw-in. So big minute and a half or 2 minutes for the Dogs. They've got to hang on here. They can't concede another goal because they're in this match.
Minson and Ryder. Ryder with a spring. Minson with the judgment. Knocked out of there by Smith. Winderlick had it momentarily. Goods. Heppel against the flow. Well done. Got it out to a voice. Melksham goes back to Comer. Hibbert thought about it. Both those guys have got long kicking legs. This will bounce through from Myers, I would think. Wait on the goal umpire. I think it's a goal. It is.
They've been unlucky though, Dennis, haven't they? They've actually defended really well inside the defensive 50. The last two goals have actually come from clearances from their defence outside the defensive 50, but go two really long kicks. The first one from Dempsey, and then that great leg there from Myers.
Well, that was what confronted the guy spinning out of the pack. I can't remember who it was. Might have been Heppel. Two long kicks to choose from. Hibbert and Myers. Beautiful.
She's got a powerful leg, this guy. I mean, this is massive again.
That is a massive kick from outside 50 off one step, and just unable to touch it in time, Roughhead.
So I think 4's the average of goals outside 50 in a match. Well, we've had 2 in about 2 minutes for the Bombers. Griffin, quick kick to half forward and getting back Carlisle. So this has been a good response by Essendon in the last minute or two. Really good stuff. And now they're running it again. Fletcher taking his time and then belting it long. Morris and Hurley. Hurley used it well. Melksham gets to about 50. That's going to the goal square, and well done at the back because Goddard was setting himself, and Talia was able to get it away from him.
This was always going to be the issue, wasn't it? The Bulldogs' ability to sustain what they were doing. They were playing fantastic footy, but The Bombers just starting to break it open a little bit. If the Doggies can hang on, though, now and go into half-time 23 points of difference, really gives himself a chance and should go in with a bit of belief.
So, it was high-octave football there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And they're young guys, so they can't necessarily sustain that high-octane footy, but gee, it's good to watch when they're doing it.
So there's a massive clearance here at half-forward for the Bombers.
And the Dogs hold. Minson in front. Wallace. The opposite direction, Goods. Tough and tight. That's a good result for the Dogs. It goes out of bounds, so we're down to 34 seconds. They need to consume a little more clock or get it cleanly and perhaps go the length of the ground, but I'm not sure that's a priority at the moment. Just hang on. 38-61. Probably the margin flatters Essendon. Take away the first 15 minutes of the game, and it's really been a terrific game of footy. Wallace gave it to Dixon. Stubs it forward about 20 metres. Goods cruising past, missed the footy. Winderlich has been busy in the last 10 minutes or so, and he's been a catalyst in their comeback. Over the football tuck. The clock continues to run. We're down to 9. Dixon goes back to Addison. Oh, dangerous. Murphy marks it. That will be the last action of the half. Well, enjoyed that half-time. Bulldogs showing their teeth. But the Bombers, third on the table for a reason, despite the absence of their champ, lead at 9-7-61 to 6-2-38. The style of football this afternoon on a wet day. Credit to Etihad and credit to both these sides.
She's all sugar. Lost in the
Honest, but he definitely won't go over the top.
Yep. Very important when he's building a side, obviously, and what we've seen today, some of the building blocks already there. Start the second half. Ryder thumps it down. Heppel goes after it. Picken came up to meet it. Liberatore. Some famous names there. Cooney. Minson. Well, he didn't have the football.
Advantage.
Cooney takes advantage. Hopefully it's there. It comes out towards the wing. Griffin was up. Knocked away by Collier. He recovers well, but then over the head of Dempsey. Tut. Well, he lowered the eyes, bounced it on the numbers, if you don't mind. Pears, who's seen a lot of the football, to Dempsey. Fletcher. Well, set Dempsey a task, and he was up to it. To Heppel. He's a man they'll have to watch closely in this term. Just get the feeling he's the sort of guy who can take this sort of game by the scruff of the neck. Up on the wing, Carlisle paddles it forward. That's in the back, surely. And Morris will get the free.
Stay there.
So steady, Morris, isn't he? All-Australian. What year was that? I reckon I can remember. Let me think. 2008, I think it was. But kicks the centre wing. Jones, Griffin. Thanks for that, Den. Griffin held up by Heppel, and then Hooker on hands and knees. Dempsey back to Pears. You're in good form, Dennis. Pears getting to Hibbert. Hibbert held up and gets it away. Strong through the hips. Back to Pears. Back to Collier, and then Collier has to retreat, but Bagley on the back foot. He had Hooker short, and Hooker's upset that he didn't go for him. And that ball should have been marked by Jones, got underneath it. Flashback by Picken was okay. And now Morris loads it up. Bombers with all the height and numbers. We've seen that a few times. They go up, and Gia! Yes! Well, they've done it again. The Bombers flying.
That's a great goal by Jim. We've seen him do that so many times, but you know, once again, Essendon had the numbers in the air, and there's no communication between those players. Hibbert's actually becoming a player into the contest. Hooker was up there in that contest as well, and that's a much better entry into their forward line, the Bulldogs, in terms of getting the numbers around the base of the contest and being able to kill the ball, even though it was helped by the Bombers in the air then. He's done this so many times in the past, hasn't he, Sean?
Yeah, that's G's bread and butter, but I think the boys will really value Dylan Addison's contest, even though 3 Essendon guys went up. For him to bring the ball to the ground brings guys like G into it.
He's had a lot of the footy, 16 possessions for a small forward, so he's been very busy. Liberatore, Griffin. Here's Murphy. Defensive side of centre wing. Fires it out into the path of John Siracusa. Lays it off again. Well worked. Murphy. Well, he bit off a fair bit there. Heppel applied the pressure, but Goods liked him too. That's a telling kick again to advantage. Addison the mark. Tuck the run. Goes inside the forward 50. Dixon knocked away by those arms. How often have we seen that? Fletcher coming back. It seemed in the hands of Dixon that he finds something, does the veteran.
That's the one there, Dennis. You just love Dixon to actually take a step forward into Dustin Fletcher and draw the free kick. He thought it was going to come over the top, but he could have been a bit smarter and actually got a free kick out of that.
Melsham off the ground. Cooney held up. Baller.
They're asking some questions of the Bombers again in the early part of this third term.
Did the team thing. He was actually probably in a scoring position, but he went the team way. Next goal big here, you feel. I know it's early third quarter. Quick kick away from Melsham. Went without it, and that was clever by Collier. He's been busy, but that's out on the floor against
Good pressure again by the Bulldogs. And that's when they're at their best in that second term, when they're really making Essendon work hard, not only for the kicks, but putting pressure. That's a great mark by Essendon. That's his second for the quarter.
And done 3 really good things, hasn't he? The 2 marks and the play that Sean talked about. Does he do a third? It won't be a goal, or just missing. He's been in and out, Addison. He's back in today. He's only played, I think, half a dozen games this year as Dowhouse. So Dogs at the moment going as well as they've gone, I reckon, for much of this year. I don't think they've played much better than this. I know they beat Brisbane early in the year, and Dennis talked about their scalps, beat Port up and down, but I reckon they're going about as well today as we've seen them.
Yeah, their best has been so good today. Comma had it knocked away by Griffin. Talk about Addison. I mean, he is fearless to a fault.
Wow. Gee, Dowhouse got one right on the cheek there, too.
He was just spectating, but couldn't get out of the way. Addison, though, is unsafe, really, for friend and foe alike. Just eyes for the football. No finesse, really, but he just goes at it 100%.
Even numbers at both ends of the ground, too, so the Bulldogs did have a spare in the second quarter. Now they've evened those numbers up. The Bombers.
Oh, brilliant by Minson to Griffin. Releases Stevens, kicks inside the forward 50 from behind Jan Siracusa. Oh, Dixon was almost through. Hacked out of midair there by Fletcher. That's experience. 2 metres in from the line. Crowd want deliberate. Well,
you can't pay.
No, you can't pay deliberate for that.
Not a kick out of the air like that, indiscriminate kick. It may have been on his mind, but I'm not sure it's the decision you can pay under those circumstances. In fact, it would have been on his mind.
Minson waiting with open arms there for Winderlich, who got his ruck knock, wraps him up.
Dennis, we talked a lot about this, about the stoppages, but again, the Bulldogs just moving the ball from these stoppages far too easily.
Tim, inside 50s. 6-0 now to the Dogs. Liberatore, big kick, not going to be a goal again. That's a bad miss. He really should have hammered that one home.
But again, they won the ball so easily and so cleanly from that stoppage.
But they've got to take their chances, Tim.
Yeah, they do, but the way the numbers are with them, that's the thing about it. I mean, there's a real imbalance.
Well, here's a cut-off. Sorry, Tim. And this guy can kick it. We know this. He's in the top 10 for games played and goals kicked at Footscray Stroke Bulldogs. Over 300 goals, closing on 250. I think he may come up 1 game short at the end of the year, but I wonder if he will go on. I mean, I thought this might be his last year, but he's playing well enough maybe to go on. I'm just looking around at Sean and the media manager, Dennis, and they...
Not sure Sean's going to knock it on the head.
I saw a thumbs up somewhere, but he's a clever player, isn't he? And he's a beautiful kick. Oh. And he's kicked 2 goals in the second half, and the Dogs are closing. Well, I own a racehorse with him, actually. He's a good racehorse owner, but he's... I'd like to see him stay on anyway, because
he's done enough. He has done enough. Even when he was being used as that sub, he just played so well coming on and giving and having an impact on the game as that sub. But I think it's also the leadership. You look at him there now, and you know, he's talking to that group of forwards, and he understands exactly where they need to be placed.
Well, Murphy and he, you want him to play on, don't you?
Even the Bulldog supporters here are helping the team out, just telling him, Jakey Melcham, to go across goal. He listens to them, and straight down G's straight. Good play, Bulldogs cheer squad.
Like an episode of The Mole, this, isn't it? You get the feeling that Gia might have attended the halftime huddle of the Bombers. Here's Stanton, feeds it forward. Bill Chambers loads up. In from the side, well, trying to go there was Carlisle, misstepped as it turned out. Winderlich deep in the pocket, goes for goal! And I tell you what, that is a fantastic effort with intent. That's a stroke of genius. He aligned himself to the goal, under pressure, and managed to pop it through, and he needs a lie down. I don't blame him.
That was deliberate, wasn't it? Just watch this again. There he goes. He just seizes the moment, gathers himself and says, OK, I'm having a crack at that, and put it in the perfect position. Shrugs off the tackle. He's been good this afternoon again, Winderley.
Do you reckon Jake Milsham's a bit upset? I mean, who's got the goal of the day? Probably.
Well,
they
actually,
like that pocket, don't they?
I think that one. I mean, see how that didn't shave the padding on the post too.
No, you've got to go with Jake, because that's an angle that's never been kicked from before.
Out of bounds. So the Bombers, Goddard. What a good game we're seeing. Some highlight reels here. Goods at the back, Stanton at the front. Carlisle held up by Talia, gets it out. Cooney to Dalhouse.
Advantage.
Heard the ump. Minson off that step. And out wide.
See, that's the kick there from Minson. Now, that actually has to hit a target. Now you've got a neutral situation where the Bulldogs should have been controlling the ball. But they have been so good at these stoppages again. Lots of players around this contest.
Well, he's a willing worker, Will. Talked about his good season. Rovat liked him so much. Stevens trying to get hold of Dempsey. And then belted forward by Morris. Oh, gee, Fletcher just copped to Stevens. How tough is Stevens? He can't be holding the ball umpire, surely. Have a look at this. He was crunched by Fletcher. And then he recovered. Bang! And look at him. He's up.
Early. Got it out. Morris gave it away. Howlett towards half forward, lurking behind his goods. Read it brilliantly. The hand pass, though, was under pressure. Stanton missed the target. Heppel went down. Cooney nicely worked. Kicks towards half forward. Getting away is Addison.
He's doing the right thing too. He's been instructed, Addison, to drag Fletcher out if he can, and he positioned himself really wide then, and it's unfortunate the kick didn't hit the mark.
Boundary throw in. Just 16 points the difference. Bearing in mind the Bombers got the opening 6 goals unanswered. Goddard wrapped up. Everybody's wrapped up there. Griffin in the midst of a bear hug coming from behind by his teammate Minson. Well, how do they work that out? That's an interesting one to look at. Sandwiched between Minson and the man with the ball was the head of Ryan Griffin. Meantime, the movement came from John Siracusa. Slapped away. Chance for Dixon. Dalhouse. Dixon! Oh, it could have gone either way. It went right to left. Minor score. 10-7-8-4.
So the Bombers just on the back foot for a moment. So 8 of the last 12 goals to the Dogs, and the Bombers kicked 2 in about a minute and a half in that second quarter. That's a brilliant kick coming out of the back half. Collier's been good. Bagley got it to Heppel. Bill Chambers. Carlisle's on his own in the goal square, but they haven't quite got it there. And Stanton probably can go all the way from here.
That was a great kick then by Collier.
Yeah,
pulled the
brilliant.
trigger on that kick, and he made a mess of one early in the game, so it's good that he has, as a young player, inexperienced player, still the confidence to pull the trigger.
It was a dangerous kick, but you get rewarded, don't you, for bravery like that. So Stanton, tight pocket, but he's a good kick, we know that. He's hit that okay, but never coming back. So a behind and a big miss. As you look there, they just... Well, I don't think anyone believes they're going to lose today, but this is an exciting contest, and, well, who knows? I mean, it's still a 2.5 goal game, but how long can the Bulldogs stay in the contest? That's the big question.
Better tell those Dogs they can't win, Bruce.
I reckon they're very much in this game, the Bulldogs.
As we said before,
Hope you're right.
Bombers missing a champion, one of the greats of the modern era, Joe Watson, and they're feeling the effects. Grant, well, that can't have been 15. Liberatore, at centre-half back, goes towards half-forward. Timely intervention there from Clommer. Clommer goes back. Dalhouse played it well. Wallace gave it across to Addison. Bit of a fumble. Pearce spins out of trouble. Addison goes again. Liberatore feeds it back. Well done, Pickin. Cooney's over the football, tackled by Myers alongside the centre circles, and the umpire comes in and balls it up.
That's a great contest, that one. Neither side prepared to yield there in the centre of the ground. Either side got the break, then they're away.
Such an exhausting style of play, isn't it? Wallace couldn't quite. Cooney getting better as the match goes on. banging high. Jones almost, who's at the foot of it. Heppel, so brave. Dalhouse, Jones, Siracusa, hot handball. Wallace to his mate Liver. Well done, Liver. Sidestep. That's a good kick. Well, falling over was Smith. Grant in the pocket. Well, that's a poor effort. I know what he wanted to do, but he had more time and should have gotten onto the right foot. Goddard, well done. Handball to Pearce, set him up. Threw it away a bit, back to Goddard. That's a brilliant handball to Dempsey and gets it to Heppel. Now Heppel sizes it up. They're away now. Ryder, lovely looking kick. Can he turn his man here? Wanting to. Stanton goes back, gets it to Hurley.
Out wide, Zaharakis. Not much on. Howlett been kicking goals lately. 55 metres from home. Sends it down towards full forward. Cooney, brilliant. Oh, well done, Morris too. Had no reason to expect that. Now Murphy runs to the back pocket, goes very wide. They've got the extra man out there, but he found the man between the two of them, and he's paid a mark, the umpire. Windelek barely hung on. Short one, Liberatore. Obviously, Windelek felt bad about it. Liberatore goes short. Dalhouse knocked away by Melksham. Now they swing it wide. Well worked, Talia. Griffin needs to be careful. Slips away. Pickin. Dixon, high ball. Jan Siracusa's been terrific, and again, oh, that was a good mark. It was tailor-made for Pearce there. Really, Pearce in position A for a punch, but Jan Siracusa, good use of the body, took the mark from behind. Goddard.
That's a terrible kick, isn't it, to the smallest bloke in your forward line, hidden in the air like that.
And it's so unlike Gia too, isn't it? He did waste that one out wide, Mrs. Heppel, and a boundary throw in.
I was just looking at Howlett's numbers. He's only had 5 touches for the whole day, Howlett. So, I mean, he's one of those Essendon midfielders that really needs to give them a little bit more. As you see O'Brien just warming up on the bench there, and maybe Essendon are ready to activate their sub.
Myers got it from Heppel, cut off by Morris. Murphy, usually so good with the ball in hand. Murphy looks up. How good was that? It was lace out. And what a big kick here from Dalhouse.
And there's the difference, isn't it? I mean, getting your best ball users with the ball in their hands in the middle of the ground. I mean, great legs, skills there too by Murphy, but just spotting up Dalhouse, lowering your eyes and still kicking to the smallest bloke in the forward line.
Biggest kick of the match so far for the Dogs.
Really?
Got it. They're getting closer. Well, I might have underestimated this challenge. They aren't going away for the moment. And O'Brien is coming on. So the sub's going to be used. We'll get that from you, Lingy, in a sec. But G. Murphy and Morris at the back. They've been terrific. Cooney across half-back. This has been a sustained effort. Really good stuff. They've kicked 9 of the last 13 goals. Lingy?
Yeah, the substitution's been made, and it's a big one. David Zaharakis, he copped that knock in that back and the high hip area. He's very sore. He's off. Nick O'Brien, it's great to see him get an opportunity, the boy from Ballarat. Fantastic kid. He will want to get involved in the game very early.
Got out to Stanton out of the middle. Very high ball. Well, a lot of run, a lot of endeavour, but lurking behind it's Crumb by Goods. Got the extra man here, Pickin aware of that, to Stevens. It bounces away from him. Still some time. Well played. Kept his head, Stevens. Needs to go out of bounds now. Walked across the line. Well, that was an interesting call from the umpire. He indicated incorrect disposal, didn't he? Just a blow. Long kick from Heppel. It's a goal. Well, I want to see that again. Were you watching the umpire then, Tim?
Yes.
It was sort of like dropping the ball. It was that.
I think he thought it was deliberate. He ran the ball deliberately out of play.
That's what he
paid.
That's what he paid, but he didn't signal that.
No, I think that's what his intention was. Look, he got himself into a pickle, Steve, didn't he?
Yeah. He did. He didn't want to pull the trigger on the kick. He looked down the line. He couldn't see.
He had to release it, didn't he? But it was a bad result.
Kick, though, too, isn't it? When they're forcing Essendon to actually kick some miracle goals to stay in this game.
Hate holding the ball.
Just kicking the ball back out there to Heppel, and he's way outside 50 with that kick, and just clearing the line there. Just watching this again, there's Comma And gee, it almost went through. Looked like it went through Goods' hand then.
Gee, Ryder just getting over the top so much in this quarter. Heppel, so much of the ball, belting it forward. So the Bombers have kicked at least 3 goals from outside 50 in this match. Remember in that second quarter against the Flow? So into Commer's back. So the controversial free kick against Stevens and the goal to Heppel. And a little bit of breathing space. Commerce sets it up to fall forward. Oh, Winderlich. That's a great mark.
He had to go quick then, Comer, because he had a 3-on-3 there in the goal square. But this bloke is very good one-on-one.
He's a real goal kicker too, isn't he? He gets them in bursts, Winderlich. He's kicked 3 today. One of them very spectacular in this quarter.
And the sub's been activated too, it looks like, by the Bulldogs. So Hunter will come into the game. It looks like Dixon may be the guy that takes the vest.
Ryder's just getting over the top of the centre bounces every time here. He's just been able to float over the top of Minson.
Yeah, but the problem with that, though, Bruce, is they actually haven't made enough of an advantage throughout the course of the game with that. But the last couple, that was the cleanest, probably the cleanest centre break they've had all afternoon there from Heppel. Sorry, Wallace is gone.
Almost time to take a trip down memory lane here, Lingy, but going back 2 goals now. I mean, the umpire paid holding the ball, did he not?
He did, Dennis. You were absolutely spot on. He signalled holding the ball. Definitely wasn't for deliberate out of bounds. So I don't know how he quite worked that one out, the umpire.
Unless it was the wrong signal, but, I mean, there was no tackle on at the time.
No, there wasn't, no. And the only one he possibly could have paid was deliberate, but he certainly didn't signal that way. And just quickly, as you did see, Mitch Wallace is the one who's been subbed off for the Doggies. Lockie Hunter's on the ground.
Heppel has really lifted in this term too, as we expected. There's Heppel again, in on the tackle. That was terrific. Myers will get the free kick, I fancy, but Heppel was there as well. Myers breaks away. This will go very long. No doubting it. Touched. It was touched by the man going back, Morris. Quick to put the mid up as well. So suddenly Essendon have turned up the heat.
If we had a long kick competition, we used to have them. Would he win it, Myers? He's the longest kick, I reckon, in the competition.
He'll go close.
Wow. It was unbelievable again. So Murphy, good grab by Minson. Griffin. Yeah, the heat is on, isn't it? I mean, the Bombers really getting involved here. Smith, Gia, Hunter on the ground, running. Can he use Smith? Well, he might go for goal. That's a good kick over the top. They should almost get a goal here. Brought down and holding it.
Just a great tackle,
wasn't it?
A great tackle
from Hooker.
Going straight at his hips, took his arms in the tackle.
Gee, they had a chance, the Dogs, and Hooker really did stand up. Hibbert.
Game's opening up, isn't it?
O'Brien, so both the subs out there.
The window let go again.
Good response here by Essendon, really good. Cut off.
So a chance for the Dogs, punched inside their forward 50. Pushing it back, and it's going to be a free kick to Tutt, I fancy.
Landing's back again.
That's a great kick if it hits its target, isn't it? The one that comes back in laterally like that. It just opens up the field. But if it doesn't, and it was such a telegraph kick then, you know, the Bulldogs have done really well just to turn that ball over and give themselves a chance at scoring a goal here through Jason Tutt.
It's a huge kick. Momentum has certainly shifted the Bombers' way. And Tutt, on debut, had 26 possessions against Port Adelaide, 2011. 3 goals with his first 3 kicks. In his first 10 minutes, he had 4 goals. So we know he can kick goals. But he puts this one through. Oh, the Dogs.
So where's he been, Sean? I mean, we were there that day. Where's he been the last couple of years? Well, it's a hard team, I know, to get into at times, but where's he been?
Yeah, he did. He had a few opportunities last year, and he's also this year been working on a number of things back in the VFL. He's A3 running. He's running inside forward 50. He's been fantastic, and obviously his finish is second to none as well.
Yeah, good response here. They needed it. Still in the game.
Here's that free kick from earlier. You see, Kobe Stevens never quite gets wrapped up properly as the ball goes out of bounds. It could only be for going over deliberately, but the umpire did signal holding the ball.
Goddard held on to it. Well, it had big repercussions into that because Heppel bombed it from about 60 and kicked the goal against the Tide at that stage. Goddard, that's a beautiful kick. Pears didn't have to break stride. How good's that to Hurley? So that was good stuff.
And this game's swinging as it often does on clearances. Essendon have had the last 5 clearances, so they've actually been able to get that great advantage in the middle of the ground, Bruce, that you talked about with the tap and direct it. You know, they're the ones that are important, the ones that actually go to advantage.
He's interesting, Hurley. I mean, we all thought 2 years ago he was going to be the big match winner for... He's a terrific player. He's had a lot of injuries. And that kicks it behind. And this is not a knock on him, because I love him, but... I don't love him, but I really like him. But he just feel like he's just waiting, marking time at the moment. He's a good player, but he's not the absolute force of nature we thought he would be. Maybe that's still to come. Cooney's kick out wide. He's young and he's got so much to offer. Am I being hard on him? I don't think so.
No, I think that's the way everyone sees him at the moment, but a lot of talent there. Ball runs out of bounds on the outer side.
You know what I think with him? I think with him, though, it's been the interruptions that he's constantly had. Every time he's actually looked like he's got going again, he's had another injury and then he's missed another couple of weeks. So, I mean, this is critical now to him, you know, with this patch of footy that he's playing to, you know, to really start to make a mark.
Griffin did brilliantly down to Liberatore, searching kick inside the forward 50. Going back, Carlisle, that's better. Dempsey, right on the numbers of the 50, chips it up towards the wing. Collier, full stretch, didn't take the mark, now he's got a problem. Fights back strongly, Talia takes it across the boundary line. And the other thing really about Hurley, virtually since day one, opposing sides have locked down on him, realising he's a potential match winner.
For sure.
There's a bit going on in the Bulldogs forward line at the moment. Grant, Stevens involved with Carlisle and also Hooker.
It's about 60 metres away from here. Myers searching. You see the umpires. Liberatore to that spot. Here they are. They're all having a wrestle. Gee, Stevens so brave. Grant brought down. Throws it to Dalhouse. Good tackle. Dalhouse gives it to Grant. Toe pokes to Gia. Gia to Dalhouse. Goal. How good's that? They're very close now. Oh, stirring stuff, and now the fight still goes on. They won't back down, these doggies, today. That's good.
Well, the Bombers will be better served by just concentrating on the ball now.
Yeah.
And there's 2 of them involved with 1 Bulldog player while the ball was within 50 metres. I mean,
that was
that's
funny, actually, wasn't it?
Well, that's just undisciplined, isn't it? You've got to have a sense of awareness. If the ball's up the other end of the ground, you can do that sort of stuff.
Well, this is the after. He's had 22 disposals today, Gia. Season high.
Yep.
Dalhouse has kicked a couple. Sean, do you think you've got a chance?
No doubt we've got a chance, yeah. I'm probably a little bit biased, but if we continue the contested footy, we're back on top in the stoppages a little bit this quarter.
As that goal was kicked, the big skirmish broken up on the forward line for the Dogs, and I think the moon boot was coming off. He was headed downstairs, our man, as the ball comes out wide. Plenty of Dogs around this one. Cooney, assisted by Hunter, looks towards the pocket. Gian Siracusa punched away down there well by Hibbert.
Should have had a shot, Cooney, I reckon.
Well, he should have a shot, but I thought there was another option that opened up before that second option. But he's become really dangerous in the midfield too, Cooney, because for the same reason that Murphy is, they're such good ball controls and they can sway, they can miss tackles, and the field just really starts to open up for them.
Should remind everyone, well, I'm sure every Bomber supporter knows this is a big match for the Bombers. I mean, we're talking top 4 stuff, aren't they? Got GWS next week, then they've got Hawthorn and a tough little stretch, so they can't afford to be dropping any of these games.
No, they've got a tough run home, but they've got their work ahead of them this afternoon. I know you've given up on the Bulldogs, Bruce, but I still think they're very much in this game.
You're a hard man. Minson goes back to Ryder.
Very uncharitable, that was. We apologise, Bruce, as a group. There goes the kick. Ryder down towards half forward. Dempsey getting in behind them. Dempsey 40 metres out. Open goal beckons. Bounces it through. Oh, that's a knee buckler.
What about Ryder's vision, Dennis?
Terrific.
That was the old Hail Mary quarterback pass, wasn't it?
Oh, brilliant.
Dempsey is something, though. He brings some speed off half-back, which is very hard to contain. When he takes off and he's got his mind set on getting the footy, it's a good man who could go with him.
He didn't break stride then, though. I mean, the kick was just perfect.
How brilliant is this from Ryder?
He breaks from the stoppage, and look at that, just beautifully positioned. And then the finish too. I mean, that's the other part you have to do after you've made that long run. He's swept the ground.
He's had a lot of injuries, Dempsey, hasn't he? I mean, he went for a lot of seasons where he averaged about 10 games a season, but he's a lethal weapon off half-back. Myers, well done, and then off the wrong foot, kicks it the wrong way, but straight to Goods. Goods had a fantastic start to the game. Belching back, gee, courageous there, getting back was Bagley. And now Hibbert to Dempsey. Heppel's just been magnificent, Heppel. Over the top, Goddard, switching cleverly, back to Heppel, and that one cut off by Goods on a boundary throwing. Heppel's numbers must be really high. Dean, you're better at this than me. What have you got?
I've got him for 22, Bruce.
Okay, and building.
Yeah.
Courageous then by Bagley to go back with the 5 too.
We thought he might go in this term. He had 14 to half-time, started with 9, 5 in the second quarter. And suddenly he's really chimed in this third term when the game was on the line. Still is, really. Hunter, Peckin, Cooney accelerates away, has a bounce. That takes us back a little ways. Gave it to Talia, goes with the outside of the boot. Hibbert stands his ground, takes the mark. Just moments ago, Carlisle was fantastic on the outer side. Knew where the numbers were. That's all he knew. He was going for a bouncing footy and just slapped it in that direction. And fair enough. He had 2 blokes to 1 lurking behind him. High ball to the wing. Minson under it. Ryder surveys the terrain and lays it down for Stanton. Goes inside the forward 50. Heppel was coming hard. Morris was wonderful. Goes back, lays it off. The left footer gets out of trouble. Smith comes down the line, intended for Hunter, knocked away by Stanton.
That worked in by Morris, though.
I was going to say, how well has Morris played today?
He's been outstanding.
He has been so good.
But that was just great. He knew that kick wasn't meant for him then. He knew there was somebody coming out from the goal square, but he just didn't flinch.
The other thing he had was an awkward ball on the ground, and he handled it so well. Now, he's in terrific touch today. Stevens trying to get it out. Dixon. Well done, Howlett. He's had a quiet one. And now Bagley rides them. Howlett did so well to Goddard. 11 disposals Goddard in this quarter. And then Stanton off a step. Heppel! Almost. Free kick.
He's responded, hasn't he, Goddard? We talked about his first half. He was falling over his own shadow in the first half, but he's slowly worked his way back into this game and had really important touches.
The enthusiasm from the Dogs is admirable, but that time they all went into the pack chasing the football, just lost their thought process, didn't they? And the guys that stayed off got the football, and they're all bombers.
Yep, good call, Dennis. And Heppel.
I'll get rid of it. No, off. Wide rule, Essendon.
Supposed to wipe it on the sash, umpire.
Yeah.
It's a pity you can't just have your kick and then leave the ground. I mean, I'm not being silly.
I suppose the problem is if you kick into the man on the mark.
Yeah, fair point.
Brent Stanton didn't waste any time making sure that he was the closest bloke to the ball.
So the ball's coming off as well, just in case it's been contaminated.
Oh, no.
You would have done the same thing, Shawnee, wouldn't you?
So the footy will be put down. The footy will be put down humanely, Bruce?
It will. It'll be deflated, all the air taken out of it, and then it'll go out to the pasture. So
not its fault.
So Stanton, who's kicked a couple of behinds today, you reckon he grabbed that ball pretty quickly, Tim, did you? Well, a goal against the midfield is always nice to have, isn't it?
Absolutely.
He's hung it out a bit. So he misses. So 3 behinds, I think, to Stanton today.
I reckon the Bulldogs are good. They've got time here to move the ball from one end of the ground to the other to set up a scoring opportunity here.
But not much margin for error now. They can't concede the next goal before 3/4 time. Murphy, roughhead, uncontested. Smith over the top, head down Minson. Yeah, got out of there somehow, kicks it towards the wing. Grant comes up, slips it away. Talia kicks for grass. This will be interesting. Who's got the speed? It appears Hibbert. He was coming on strong, but the ball runs away and goes out of bounds. So boundary throw in down to 20 seconds. A real good game of footy, this. Tough, end-to-end stuff. In stark contrast to what we saw yesterday in similar conditions, although not under the roof, you understand. Up at Simmons Stadium yesterday, just grueling, unrelenting football. It wasn't very attractive. And on a wet day in Melbourne today, this has been stark contrast.
Can they open up the stoppage a bit, the Bulldogs?
Last little roll here. Minson tries and then hooks a goal. There you go. Big Will. Well, he did the roving himself. Hey, Lingy, we've got a big last quarter, I think.
Oh, we certainly have, Bruce. Fantastic by big Will Minson out of the stoppage. Got 2 seconds remaining on the clock. This is a really good game of footy and a huge last quarter coming up.
Well, we talked about them opening up the stoppage. In the end, they didn't need to. They just needed the ball in the hands of Will. Have a look at this again. I mean, this is just all about strength. They had the palm down and then the finish.
It's terrific.
He's been a colossus for the Bulldogs this year.
What do they say? Where there's a will.
Look at that.
There's a way, right?
They won't be denied, will they? Give them their due. They keep on coming.
26 hit-outs for Will today and 5 clearances as well. So even though Paddy Ryder's got probably the better of the taps, there he goes again.
Oh, there's the siren.
And you would think that they're going to have to go over 100 points again in this final quarter. So have they got the power up forward to be able to kick a winning score?
Well, he's motivated, that's for sure. I saw him going to the huddle at three-quarter time. Coming off a 6-goal third term, they should be up. Out of the middle, Liberatore hooks it down towards half forward. Pears missed it. Carlisle tracks it back. Jan Siracusa, who's been terrific. Dalhouse over the football. Great desperation by Bagley. Hunter's on top of him. And the umpire calls for it about 25 metres out from the Dogs' attacking goal.
Libby got that last one out again. He's up to 9 clearances now.
Winning the tap, Bell Chambers. Carlisle's quick kick out. These one-on-ones big here. Stanton, Hurley, well done. Gets it to Merritt. He's been quiet, hasn't he? He got the whack in the face early. Winderlick's been very good. Pears back to Winderlick. 3 goals for Winderlick today. Neat kick. Howlett quiet. So big last quarter expected from him. And Howlett to half forward. Look good off the boot. Hurley just gave a little shove on Roughead. Got away with it. Roughead then brings him to ground. Back to Hunter. Hunter the sub. Down the line. Good kick by Hunter. Murphy protecting the ball. Liberatore. What a good third quarter he had. Back to Hunter. It's a neat kicking style to centre wing. Addison. Cooney. Up to 23. Had the big third quarter. Back to Murphy. And then Murphy. Careful. Minson. Murphy. Can't quite get through. Talia, got to get it back to Murphy. Murphy, cool head, important kick, and a beauty.
Lucky they had Morris and Murphy combining there. Morris, so good today, been steadfast, kicks it up towards the wing. Griffin tracks it towards the line. The boundary throw in.
And it's a big ask there for the sub, Nick O'Brien. He looks like he's got the run with role on Ryan Griffin, having such a massive season, Griffin. It's going to be important for O'Brien to shut him down this quarter.
Griffin, 20 possessions so far. Boundary throw in at the interchange gates. Over the top, Minson. Merritt hasn't played a major role. Taken high as Liberatore. He loves it in close, doesn't he?
He's been fantastic. Up to 15, 16 contested possessions now.
It's in the genes. Gets it back, drives it from half-back, a high one. Bagley up, couldn't hang on. Hooker. Fletcher, high ball. Minson and Bell Chambers lock up. Bell Chambers almost on his chest. It runs away from him, out of bounds, but timely enough. They virtually tag like a tag team.
Murphy
on
now
comes Ryder.
Sorry, Dennis. Murphy now sitting back off this stoppage, free across half-back.
Jim Minson has done a good job because Ryder and Bell Chambers are a formidable combination. Oh, whack. He went for the big kick and held it back. Hunter in there. With Stevens it was. Comma and Morris. Here is Murphy off the line. Didn't get it through. Heppel clever. And Howlett breaks the tackle. They're on here. He's got Hurley short. Well played.
That was a double lead then by Hurley. That was really smart play. Went back to the goal square and then he did a U-turn.
And Hurley does the team thing and all on his own is Winderlick.
Good from Howlett there too. He's been so quiet this afternoon as one of their midfielders, and that was an important touch. And then he kept his head too, just breaking from that stoppage at half forward.
He's having a good year, Winderlick. 3 goals today, 14 for the season. He's 9 goals straight in the last 3 weeks. Make that 10, and they get a bit of breathing space, the Bombers. It's an interesting matchup, Winderlick, isn't he, Tim?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's not tall. In fact, Sean, is he as tall as you? Is he around your...
I think he'd be surprisingly tall.
Yeah, I think he's
your
tall as
height?
Sean.
Yeah, he'd be just over 6 foot, I think.
And, I mean, in a funny way, he plays a similar game to you. I mean, that tall forward, that medium forward that can play tall and kick
I'd
goals.
like his speed, if that's all right.
Okay. Well, you can take a mark and kick a goal. But anyway, he's done a great job today.
Yeah.
Kick 4. He's a terrific player. Well done, Hurley. That was great.
Margin 19 points. That was slacked by the Bulldog defence. They had a lot of numbers back, but nobody thought to pick up the man just hanging back. Some recriminations down there, a bit of finger pointing, but still not all is lost. Bad bounce.
This is a critical centre bounce here for the Bulldogs. They need to answer quickly.
Where's Liberatore?
He's free again at the back of the stoppage.
You think you'd get a body on him, wouldn't you? There's one coming now, actually. Rucks go at it, so they get a moving body on him. Smith fed it forward. Stumbling in there and going nowhere. I think it's Smith. Hard to tell. No, in fact, it's Robat. Should have gone for him. What a game he's played.
Even numbers at both ends now, so Murphy no longer that free.
Off the ground by Myers after Heppel did some good work. Now Hurley knew where the help was. Goes back to Stanton. Needs a favourable bounce, and he got it. Oh, well done. Hurley terrific. Stanton knows that.
Gee, Hurley, that was brilliant, Dennis. Good call. He whipped that handball around. He almost got whiplash in his neck doing it. So he set the last couple of goals up. Talking about him earlier, I just can't wait to see him in a big September, Hurley, just to see what he brings to the party, because he is a match-winning type of bloke, isn't he?
I hope it's this one.
Well, yeah, well, there you go. That's another question, but they're certainly going to get enough wins to play in September. How big this was from Hurley.
I mean, he just trapped the ball so well too, didn't he? Look at this, just bang, quick whiplash over the top. But I mean, sometimes all you need is the kick off the ground when you've got even numbers there.
So the Dogs now have got to find something. And Myers again from Ryder has just been getting up so high in this second half. Howlett getting a taste. Stanton's been clever. Now Griffin backs himself. Murphy and Griffin have been good. Liberatore, clever by Murphy. Through the centre, Stevens a lot of the ball. Probing, kick to full forward, Jones. She getting up so high, Carlisle. And that ball getting to the line and a boundary throw-in. So the acid now put on the Dogs. They've been asked a lot of questions today. None bigger than this right now.
That's a great defensive spoil, though, isn't it? With his left hand to the boundary line.
He had the courage to peel off, didn't he? Left his man, to be third man up. Behind the pack, Dixon went to ground. Minson tries to slap at Goldwood. Goddard kicks it up towards the wing. Morris has generally done best man-to-man. Did there. Hurley gives him a workout while they're on the ground. Meantime, the kick comes across to Hunter. I think it was Goods who kicked it. Hunter, he's a nice-looking kick. Sends it down towards full forward. Carlisle again did well. Got in front. Spills to Bagley. Now they're away. Stanton running the outer side. Blistering speed from Cooney. Suddenly put him under pressure. He just materialised. Back goes Hunter. Tries to knock it across. Did so successfully. Morris gave it to Goods. Kept his head. That's a beautiful kick coming out. Addison.
It was a great kick. Gee, Hunter did well a moment ago. That's a terrible kick by Addison. Melcham. We've praised Addison a lot today, but he's been untidy at times, and that really hurts. Ryder getting it back. Kicks to the pocket. Well done that time, Addison. A bit of everything there. Morris and Hurley. What a duel. Well, that was Murphy, I should say. But the Morris-Hurley duel's been a beauty. And Murphy tapping it to the line. He's been great today again, Bob Murphy. Is he still Bob Murphy? He is Bob Murphy.
He's Bob.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Just checking. Love his articles. You read them, Dan?
All the time, Bruce. Knocked down. That sounded insincere, didn't it?
Well, no, coming from you, it sounded about as sincere. No, that was about right, then.
Robat kicks it out of bounds.
Okay, Dan. What was this week's article about?
About the Bulldogs. No, he's a bit esoteric for me, Robert. Boundary throw, and I had trouble with Juddy as well. But I know him. You're almost obligated to read columns by people you know, and I didn't read his.
Don't worry about it, then. You don't have to read them. You don't have to read them.
He who apologises too much. I like Hunter. He hand passes to Cooney. Cooney goes down towards half forward. Grant. Oh, no. Trampoline chest. It bounced away. Now he's got a problem. Flicks it in desperation. Cooney did well. John Siracusa looks up. Is it 15? I think it is. What do you reckon, Sean? 15?
We'll take that.
Okay. Stevens has got it.
And they're the two blokes, aren't they? You want the ball in the hands of Cooney at that part of the ground and Gia too. I mean, they just make the right decision at the right time. He lowered his eyes, didn't blaze away. They just retained possession, and now Stevens has a real chance of now kicking another goal from a set shot, and he's well within his range. It's just going to be a matter of accuracy.
Started brilliantly. Kobe Stevens. He's 24th possession, and this kick doesn't come back. Didn't miss by much, but it missed. And the margin of 24 now, so approaching midway through the term, no margin for error for the Dogs. Nothing to lose, of course.
So Fletcher's kick, well picked off by Goods. Gee, he read it so well. A hard man to beat, Carlisle, and the Hunter's got it. Well, we think he's a good kick, Dennis. We're about to find out he's a likely type, Hunter. And he decides to go bang, almost front and centre, Dalhouse goal. He's kicked 3 in the second half. Well, Dennis Pagan used to talk about front and centre. I mean, that was as good an example to see from a little crummer.
You know, the other thing about that, though, was Hunter going quickly with the ball. He actually, he caught the Essendon defenders off guard. They had 4-2 in the goal square, and they really had the numbers there where they should have been able to defend, but it was just the fact that the kick came in quickly and they weren't ready and they weren't organised.
Love it when he kicks goals. I mean, that's a silly thing to say, but he's at his best when he's crumbing and goaling. Sean, you're small, medium forward yourself. I mean, this is a classic, isn't it?
I think he built the start of his career on his work inside 50. Probably got away from that a little bit in the first half of the season. I think the last 2 weeks has come back to that.
Great contest by Roughead.
Sorry, Dennis. Yeah, outstanding by Jordan Roughead, wasn't it? Just brought it to the front for Dalhouse. Beautiful play.
Rovat down towards half forward. And a fist on that one, Hunter. Carlisle stood his ground. Fletcher to Carlisle. Hunter in his hip pocket, but it comes across towards Stanton. Stanton goes short but missed the target. Addison needs to be good with the disposal. Not bad by his standards. Murphy got it from Rovat. Across it comes to Liberatore. How is that for a slick disposal? Back to Murphy. Beautiful kick. And the mark is taken by Grant. Still they keep coming, these Dogs.
Gee, Murphy's use of the footy today has been
He's the man, isn't he?
Brilliant.
And this is the point Tim made starting the term. They will not go away. They're here for the afternoon, the Dogs. Goods runs inside 50 and kicks a goal. Oh, how good is that?
Grant mightn't have played a league game this year, but he knows his goods. Oh, that was so clever, wasn't it? Oh, hey, Lingy. Oh, no, I'll come to you shortly. This is unbelievable stuff. Gee, that's a good finish, Dan, isn't it?
Anytime they can get the ball in the hands of Bob Murphy, though, at that part of the ground, then, I mean, that was just a great kick, and, I mean, Goods just knows he's clever. He got the Essendon defender in the air, and then just coolly slotted through.
I wonder if Adam Goods tweets, because I'm going to be tweeting about his brother right now if he does. That was brilliant.
Just cooling down. He's probably cooling down, watching the telly now. He can do that after the Battle of the Bridges.
He didn't play today, though, did he?
No, I know, but he's a committed supporter. There goes Dalhouse. Dalhouse. Rovat. Advantage is not paid. I think they're bringing it back. Oh, the Dogs haven't really caught a break.
No, we can't play advantage from an out of zone free.
Fitway. Bringing it back.
We might just need to replay that and find out what the explanation was there from the field umpire officiating.
Liberatore, so we reset. Well done, Dalhouse. Gave it contest. That's all it required at the time. Oh, brilliant. Well done by Smith. Goes after it again to Smith. Smith close to the line, and it rolls across the line.
And the Bulldogs believe, and you asked the question at three-quarter time about whether or not, they believe that they can win a game like that. Right now, you'd have to say that they very much believe that they can win this game.
Absolutely agree with you, Tim. Despite what I said in the third quarter. Is that in the back? Here's the advantage one. Here we go. This is a moment ago. So off they go. So why isn't that advantage?
No idea.
I mean, that was continuous. Good mark by Carlisle. What a player he is.
Hunter's come on and had 8 possessions too. So, when you compare that with Essendon Sup, O'Brien has had 4. He's making a real impact out there for a young kid.
Looks a player, doesn't he?
Sure does. So Winderlich in the back half. Now they're away. Well, I say they're away. They looked up Howlett and he didn't quite have the confidence. He's gone. That's holding the ball. And this is, well, there you are. There's advantage, but the Bombers will take the mark. So I can't work out the last one.
Seemed to be identical, didn't it, really?
Well, Anyway, Griffin underneath, Merritt at the back. He's been quiet, Merritt. Under pressure, Melcham. Toe poking, going nowhere. Well done, Myers. Strong, still over the ball. Gee, play well, Myers.
Heppel comes to it now, upended. Smith in trouble. Feeds it forward. Hibbert with dash across the 50. Wheels around, wants his left side. Beautiful kick. Heppel takes the mark on the wing. 101 plays 89. 10 minutes going now.
Trying to
just
slow.
over.
Heppel just trying to slow the game down here and just control the ball.
2 metres.
The Bulldogs will just want to speed the game up and turn the ball over.
Well, Chambers to Goddard, searching kick inside the forward 50. Juggled by Morris.
What a body play that was.
Consummate defence, but a risky kick. Now it's a battle, 1-on-1. Tutt versus Bagley. Dalhouse the first to arrive and assist. Flicks a hand pass over the top. Cooney. Tutt. Deep in his own defensive area. Minson has to work down low. Liberatore feeds it forward. Hunter. Great poise by the young man. Back to Tutt, who runs on. He's looking for Smith. Smith takes the angle on Heppel. Paddles it down towards the 50. Wants to stop it so he can go back on it. This is interesting. Smith was led surely. He'll get the free kick.
That was just a fantastic contest between two young players.
That reminds you of the old coach just standing there on Thursday night and just saying pair up and kick the ball out to a pair and just see who can win the contest.
So Stevens loads it up. Where's Jones? They crash and bash. And I think Gia's underneath it all. And it's a ball up. Gee, Lingy, they're a big chance if they get the next goal.
Yeah, they certainly are. Dustin Fletcher copped a knock in that last contest. He's a bit sore, but he just manages to get up. Yeah, if they kick the next one, this is a terrific game of footy.
Heppel, how good he's been. Oh, Dalhouse! That is a mark against a good man. Well, Winderlick's kicked 4. Dalhouse is going back for 4, and they went for the same footy. Head to head, didn't they?
Yep.
Well, I said earlier here the biggest kick of the match for the Dogs in the third quarter. Well, nothing compares to right now. Wow.
The Bombers look like they're just holding on at the moment, though, don't they? They did this last week against Port Adelaide. See, Fletcher's gone to the bench after that heavy crash, but they're charging the Bulldogs. They've got real energy still about the way they're playing.
Dustin doesn't look well as the kick comes in. Off the boot of Picken, was it? Not sure. It's gone out in the full. Now, how will they call this?
The umpire signalled out on the full, the boundary umpire.
Yeah.
Free kick.
Yeah, Picken was appealing for the ball, but I think it came off him. Worth a try. Stanton short to Dempsey, who goes all the way back to the opposite back pocket. Carlisle. Nothing on. No, nothing on up the ground, so he just squares it to Bagley. Now Winderlick takes off. That's hard running. He's got to honour that. Winderlick will mark about 5 metres in from the boundary. Gee, that was terrific. He took off inside the centre circles.
Dennis, you're right. And how many times have we seen that this afternoon? Just Fletcher disappearing down the tunnel there, but the Bulldogs have just shut them down forward of the ball again.
Well, it's play on. Winderlick goes back eventually. You don't have to play on simply because the umpire calls. Nobody moved. Winderlick had the man on the mark just holding his ground initially. But they haven't advanced the footy. Still in their defensive 50. Dempsey, who's kicked a couple of good goals today. High ball towards the wing. Minson from behind Talia. Loose ball at the back. Liberatore's been very good. Dixon under pressure, kicks down towards half forward.
Dempsey terrific, he accelerated to take the mark. But the Bulldogs for the moment have set up pretty well, haven't they? They've been able to stop the run. Dalhouse had a wonderful second half, kicks to half forward. Well done Hibbert against Gia, but it was set up for that. Back goes Merritt. Hibbert. Dempsey. He may go back to Hibbert. No, short, okay. Stanton's been very busy in the last quarter, including a goal. Off a step. They're not gaining a lot of meterage, are they? But they are just getting some composure here, Essendon, I think. Collier, haven't seen much of him in the second half. Good kick. That's a brilliant kick.
The other thing they're doing is they're just going to take a little bit of time off the clock doing this as well. This is the one.
And Bell Chambers and Minson and Will belts it away. Only as far as Collier. And then Collier caresses the ball to the pocket. Oh, what a mark. What a player this boy is. You caught him early then in the match.
He should run off from here.
And he does. Heppel. And Heppel rolls it and rolls it and rolls it home.
That's quality.
He is a champion. Smith in trouble and Heppel kicking the goal.
That's outstanding play, though. It was an A, the mark. You see Smith, who has been so brave this afternoon, too, just really hobbling now. Here's the Fletcher injury, though, early. We see that he's disappeared down the tunnel. There it is. Bang. It's Paddy Ryder that's taken him out there. And maybe a knee into the rib or a knee into the head. But that's a really strong one-on-one mark there, too. And he just senses that Smith's in a bit of trouble here. No one on the goal line. All the other Bulldog players are still trying to work out what's going to go on. And, oh, gee, that only just slid past the fat pass part of the post as well. You see the disgust there on the face of McCartney.
26 possessions now for Heppel. Out of the middle, Bell Chambers went to ground. Goods in the opposite direction. Minson, Griffin, high ball inside the 50. They queue up down there. Again, 3 Essendon players in the air. Wide of the pack, Dempsey. Breaks a couple of would-be tackles. Hibbard spears it along the line. Comma missed the mark. It's out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. The margin 17 points. Well, that's silly. Absolutely uncalled for. Goods gives up a free kick. And with it, perhaps any chance of winning the game, because they could run a few more minutes off the clock here if he decides to go back. No, the Dogs, in fairness, have manned up. High ball. Hurley comes hard with commitment. Howlett got the crumb. Heppel once more. Kicks down towards half forward. Talia bounces off his chest. He was under pressure and the ball goes out of bounds.
Gee, you wonder why Goods would do that. I mean, this is so silly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, a moment of madness.
See Smith there in the hands of Zimmer.
Quick kick forward from O'Brien. Front spot. Hurley's competed so well in this term. Dixon, Liberatore to Griffin. Great tackle, Melsham. He's gone.
Wow.
Committed himself, Melsham. They'd worked it so well. I mean, Liberatore's ability to give the little one to somebody and create's been brilliant today. So, big, long kick to fall forward. Hurley and Morris. And a behind.
He's up to, Liberatore's up to 32 now. Yeah. 18 of those have been contested possessions. He's had 11 clearances. He's been outstanding.
4th time this year over 30. I think 36 a couple of weeks ago too.
That's right. Kick comes in. Griffin runs away and kicks it up towards the wing. The judgment shown by Carlisle. The interchange Gates with his side up by 18 points. No need to hurry. High ball. Got it. Well, he heard you, Tim. He was in there, but he landed very heavily. The hand pass came across to Addison, who comes along the line. Roughhead had it punched away. O'Brien over the shoulder, taken by Stanton. Hooked around the corner by O'Brien. Low down. Hurley goes back to Goddard, to Melksham. I think he's kicked it. It's bending back. It's a goal. Well, that's it. Melksham gets his second. What a hard-fought victory it's going to be. Well done by the Bombers.
I tell you what, though, the Bulldogs have forced them to kick some miraculous goals this afternoon.
Melksham.
Unbelievable goals.
A few things that have happened today just haven't run for the Dogs. When they look back on a few hard luck stories, I think they'll feel a little sympathy for themselves. The Dogs, we have that Melksham goal. Advantage wasn't paid at a very important time, and of course self-inflicted was Goods.
And Dowhouse also missed one from 30 metres out.
That's right.
But the Rovat
I think that's going to be the discussion point after this game.
Because there's a critical stage in the match.
Absolutely.
But I tell you, Hurley's ability to compete in this last quarter, I mean, he and Morris have had the most brilliant duel, but Hurley's ability to compete in the forward 50 in this quarter has been magnificent, I reckon. And Heppel has just been superb all day. But the Dogs have had some good players. Griffin getting back. None better than Liberatore for the Dogs. Dixon. Murphy. Just couldn't quite get down. Well played, Griffin. Murphy's been so good. Murphy and Cooney. Dowhouse has had a wonderful second half. He just would love to have got that set shot out wide. We've talked about Hunter. We like him so much.
He finds space, this kid. He's a really smart player.
He sure is. His dad, of course, a league player. And then Hunter to full forward, and Carlisle's just been too good for Roughhead. Not for the first time. I mean, he's just such a good one-on-one player, Carlisle.
Short to the pocket as the clock continues to run. Fletcher seems to be okay, and that's good news. You saw Paddy Ryder just fly into the back with that knee. Fletcher came off, went down the race. Good as new now, we're told. Goddard, Stanton. He's been defying people for a long time, both Stanton and Fletcher, as it turns out. Stanton runs on, gets it back from Bell Chambers, can cruise inside the 50, lines up on a vacant square. He's trying to bounce it through. Well, didn't see Cooney coming back out of the corner of his eye. He's annoyed with himself now.
And Winderlick's annoyed with him too, because he made a really good lead. He got a good break, Winderlick. He had to lower his eyes, and they could have retained possession of the ball really easily then.
So Pick into the pocket. Cooney.
She loved the way Cooney's moving. I mean, that was a difficult kick, though. Asked a lot of Dixon. High ball by Collier, and Dempsey, who's kicked a couple today. See Dempsey off half-back. It's so important. And for Brendan McCartney, well, a step forward, I think, today, but it's going to be a result that's it's going to be a 5-goal game. It's a little bit like Friday night. There's a better game than Friday night, by the way, but Collingwood getting away late there. Dempsey's been a fine player, hasn't he? 3 goals off half-back. So he's kicked 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 in the last.
It just hasn't been a 5-goal game, though.
No.
You know, even, I mean, Essendon beat Port Adelaide last week. I thought it wasn't a 5-goal game, and this afternoon the Bulldogs have been so brave, and it is just those small parts of their game that they need to improve. But there's a lot to like about their young kids that we've seen this afternoon too. You look at those games Essendon still has to play on the way home.
So they'll beat the Giants, and then they've got Hawthorn and Collingwood, 2 massive games, streaking the top 4. First time Dempsey's ever kicked 3 in a match. And then the Eagles here at Etihad Stadium. So an interesting month for the Bombers.
31 points the margin. Doesn't seem right, does it? After it goes O'Brien, lays it off. Goddard slips it wider still. Collier. Suddenly the run is with the Bombers. Stanton goes down towards the attacking 50. Oh, that's a terrific mark by Morris.
He just played the angle so beautifully there, Morris.
Stevens towards the wing, reaching over the top. Dempsey. Stanton again, back to Dempsey. So good in that situation, pushing up Dempsey, but the kick not so flash. Addison. So this afternoon the Bombers finding out that life without Jobe Watson not so easy. They've really had to battle for this victory against a dogged Bulldogs outfit. Well done by Hibbert. And speaking of number 4s, I noticed that Daniel Cross was an emergency today. Just hope he can get back in this team and go out the way he deserves to. Such a good player for so long. Better than good. Outstanding player. Average in everything, I guess, except the way he played the game. Storming up the ground, Murphy. Goes down towards half forward. Hunter. Oh. Well, that was interesting. Penalised for a throw.
Not sure if it was in the end. I think he's clever enough to have done that.
Well, Sean, he's going to be a good kid, Hunter.
Yeah, he does. He's shown some really good signs across half forward this afternoon.
Even the way that he approached that ball in the air.
And just his vision. I mean, I think he feels like he did get a legitimate handball away there, but he's an exciting player. We saw Rovat earlier. The first half was fantastic. They've been terrific, and I've got to say, I love what you said about Daniel Cross, Dennis. Let's hope that he hasn't played his last game. I know that they're a developing team, but you'd love him to have a fitting finale. Hooker's kick short, but they've got a good coach, a paternal coach that I think is a father figure at the club after a couple of years and is making his mark, isn't he?
Yeah. And Cross just terrific when they were very good in those preliminary finals.
Yep.
Very good.
And Boyd a couple of weeks away from coming back. You often think about those guys in the same sense. Just been a great afternoon of football. The Bombers challenged by the Dogs, but they'll get the points, and that's it. What a good game. It was a lot closer than that scoreboard, we can promise you that. But the Bombers keep a streak going, and they push themselves to 12-3. Against the Dogs have won 4 games, but today took a step forward. They played like their coach wants them to play today, the Dogs.
There's a lot of positives that he'll take out of this game.
Down to you, Lingy, with the guy who just played such a game.
He did play an amazing game, and the nose looks very bent. Is that broken?
Oh, mate, my nose was already bent, so I actually just went a bit more, but all good, yeah.
It was a hard game. The Doggies just kept coming at you. They were really fantastic, but great that you can get over the line.
No doubt. They were fantastic around the footy. We knew their contested ball was outstanding, so it's a credit to them, actually. They were fantastic tonight, but yeah, I guess we got the result, but they were fantastic.
You seem to take it upon yourself, obviously the skipper out, but also Heath Hocking, to really have an influence through that middle part of the ground?
Yeah, I guess it's certainly something I've been working on my craft, so it's good to get the opportunity to get in there, but, you know, obviously no good with Job and Buddha out, but it's good to get the opportunity, yeah.
Well done, mate. Go and ice up that nose.
Good work on Tim. Is Dyson taking the mickey out of me with that nose?
No.
They're very similar, aren't they?
Actually, I reckon you've got about a yard on him still. You could slip a row through a wire fence like me, Dennis.
All right, Tim.
So Hurdy gets the points, the Bombers kick going. Sean, just a final thought from you, from the Bulldogs' point of view?
Oh, look, definitely some good signs around the footy, contested footy and clearances, but full credit to Essendon. They were challenged throughout the day, and to start the way they did and then finish the way they did, they're a quality side.
Well done today. Take the makeup off, take the moon boot off and get out there and start playing again, but you've got to feature
Well done, Sean.
Well done, Sean.
both ways. So it's just a great day, it really was. Good
It's
side,
nice.
Essendon.
It's nice when you have a day like this, if you're the Western Bulldogs or any struggling team, you suddenly see some hope, don't you?
And Clay Smith with the crutches out there.
Yeah.
Heavily iced on his right knee too, so that might be a bit of a story coming out of this game.
And getting the embrace from Dyson Heppel, as it turned out.
Yeah.
That was a pivotal moment, wasn't it, when Smith went down and was hurt and couldn't put pressure on Heppel, who snapped a wonderful goal.
Well, we saw some good stuff today. Let's go to the best stuff of round 16 now. West Coast really turned them over here. We know what Collingwood did in the first quarter last week, and Swan's got it. There you go. Melsham just dropped it, and then I thought ran out of bounds, but I hope he didn't, because he's kicked a most magnificent goal.
Jack to Parker, who came off the bench, runs straight for goal and makes it count.
Bombers with all the height and numbers. We've seen that a few times. They go up, and Gia! Yes!
Beautifully caressed to Yaron. Yaron puts on the afterburners. He said, Quill, I'm faster than you. Yaron to Henderson. That is brilliant Carlton play.
Couldn't quite. Robbie Gray, can he finish? Handballs over the top. Didn't hit it quite as he would have liked. He's going to get it again. Gray inside Cheney. Dances, slides, does everything as well as goal.
As Carlisle misstepped, as it turned out. Winderlick deep in the pocket. Goes for goal. And I tell you what, that is a fantastic effort.
Now Hanley on the fly, takes on Taylor Hyde. We know he can kick them from all angles, and he shows it again, the Irishman.
Good tackle, Dalehouse gives it to Grant. Toe pokes to Gia. Gia to Dalehouse. Goal! How good's that? They're very close now.
Oh, the Irishman, if you don't mind, have you seen anything like that before? Have you seen anything like that?
What a weekend of goals, and Clay Smith here in real trouble, isn't he, the youngster?
Well, it appears that way. There are tears there. He's got his knee heavily bandaged, so that may be a bigger story than we even first thought. They're on crutches at the moment.
He's a brave boy. He had a great match and a great contest at times with Heppel. So what a day we saw. Essendon challenged by the Western Bulldogs and then responding. A fantastic afternoon under the roof at Etihad on a Sunday that was just so enjoyable.